Hey man, how we feeling today, man? You know, I usually don't do this, but young original. Nah, I'm just, how's everybody doing? My man Deontay Lewis is saying he said you don't like Jalen Hurts because he beat Texas. Don't pull my flag. Y'all got y'all talking about what Jalen Hurts did to my Longhorns. We don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the truth, Deontay. I don't want that. But no, we got to talk about that. Nisa, how you doing? Deontay, I appreciate Deontay, appreciate you being here. I'm chewing on some a little candy, so you know what I mean? I'm halfway in between. But yeah, man, we got a fun little stream. I'm not gonna be here too long. I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. It's a beautiful little, what is it, Wednesday's day. Lots of beautiful things. No football on today, so we will be talking about football. Obviously talking about Shedeur. Yeah, I know. We talked plenty about Shedeur. We're also going to be talking about it more in general sense about the Cleveland Brown media. I think they've lost their mind. A long time ago they lost their mind, but it's even more exasperated at this point. And then also, if we're going to talk about the Browns, the story that's been bubbling is obviously about Deshaun Watson and his timetable to return, different things like that. Deontay's like, I'm just boosting, pay me no mind. How you doing? Nah, man, you reminded me of the sad days. Jalen Hurts did nasty things to my team. No, I'm doing great. I hope y'all are doing great. Byron Flagg says, yo, how we feeling? How we doing? I really do appreciate you. And if I could say before we get, oh yeah, we're also going to be talking about everybody's favorite quarterback, Jameis Winston, because everybody loves Jameis Winston. So we're going to be talking about him too. But before I even get into it, it's really two things. First off, what we're about to start with wasn't supposed to be the start of the video, but my man Ross Tucker, well, he's not my man. Let's get that straight. Some dude named Ross Tucker. You see, what happens is what's done in the dark comes in the light, right? All these weird little lies are starting to come out about Shedeur, and I'm about to teach y'all something that I was telling y'all in the draft process, right? Dark Home Queen, how we doing? Don Juan, hey, I'm here on time. What's up, my guy? What's good? French Doggy, what's up? What's happening? I hope everybody's doing great. One second. I want to smack in y'all's ear real quick. Hold up. Wow, so see, and that's how you know Deontay Lewis already saying he's on Philly radio every week and he's annoying. He exposed something real nasty about Shedeur, and I think he thinks that it makes sense on his end, but for me, it makes sense about all the draft lies and kind of makes sense of how we got here. One second. Them high chews, boy. Them high chews be stuck in your teeth for real. All right. Deshaun better be cut. Ian Coleman was good. No jersey today. Tings means business. Yeah, man. It's a no jersey day. I gotta get serious. The jersey will be back for the watch alongs. Don't y'all worry. Another watch along coming. But French Doggy says no one likes him. Let's get into it, right? Don't worry, y'all know a lot of chat. I'm gonna give y'all time, but this one right here kind of upset me, right? Ross seems to be one of those that were part of the bad mouth Shedeur. Okay, people think if they say it enough, it will make sense to everyone. Not play Sanders and drafting him is how it is a get back at Deion Sanders for doing whatever wanted and not being controllable during the playable years. Hey, I like that, and we're gonna read some comments, but I want to get right into this. I wanted to make this video focused on the Browns media, and this video is speaking about the Browns media. But before we get into it, I want to have some time to speak about Mr. Ross Tucker. Now, if you've been watching my channel, just since the draft time, right? We've been doing a lot of documenting situations on a lot of different sides, and something I told y'all was that everything you hear in the draft process is a lie. I flat out told you that. And it's not because I was a Shedeur fan. That was back when everybody thought Shedeur was the first round pick. Remember that. Look, I don't want y'all thinking that I jumped on a bandwagon and I retroactively, oh, everybody's lying. Nope, I told y'all before we knew where Shedeur got drafted, before we knew when anyone got drafted, everything you hear during the draft process is a lie. Now things are starting to uncover themselves, and now we're starting to get the truth. And one of those truths is Mr. Ross Tucker blatantly lying, blatantly holding grudges against Shedeur Sanders and making his perception completely different. So we're going to listen to these clips on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Shout out to my man, Garrett Bush, because he's on here. He's a frequent contributor. We're just going to listen to it and then, of course, react to it. Let's hear it.
The players kind of did what they wanted there, right? This was not just like a Shedeur thing or anything. Like
He's speaking about Colorado here.
The players did what they wanted. I was told, well, he'll talk to you Friday night. Okay. We do the production meetings. Shedeur does not come to the production meeting. Instead, it's LeJohntay Wester. They didn't give us a reason why it was a rookie. It was a receiver and not Shedeur. The only thing I thought was really weird about it is we're leaving, and there's a pickup truck right out front of the hotel, and Shedeur was just sitting in the back of the pickup truck. And I actually regret. I might even ask him if he is playing in that game. I do. I guess regret not going up to him, introducing myself. Hey, Shedeur, Ross Tucker, nice to meet you. I'm doing the game on CBS. And just saying, like, just out of curiosity, like, why did you not want to do the meeting? And maybe the answer is just because with all the attention they got, all the commercials, all the media, maybe he just didn't, like, maybe he didn't know that you're supposed to do a production meeting and just didn't feel like doing it. And so I didn't, like, it didn't affect how I called the game. But my point about that, Jay, was that stories like that get out, Yeah. And then the pre-draft process went the way it went for him. Those things start to stack, right? Like, skips a production meeting, then at the combine meetings. Those things stack on top of each other, and people talk. And because I had at least 5 NFL GMs in the weeks after say, hey, what'd you think of Hunter? What'd you think of Shedeur? And like, what's Shedeur like as a kid? Like, well, I didn't get to talk to him. And then they're like, yeah, we've heard that stuff. So all that stuff counts.
It all adds up. Hey, we've got a hard 12.
So, I want to focus on a few things, right? And again, if you've been watching, shout out my man Ian Coleman. Don't worry, I got you, brother. I got you. What I want to say is, look, in the world of NFL, you have to be honest with yourself and understand that certain things do trickle down, right? Certain things are going to rub people the wrong way, and they're going to be lingering, lasting effects on your career, right? And that's all fine and that's all good. But we're talking about, again, now that things are starting to come out and everything is starting to be revealed. Remember back in the draft when the initial combine interviews came out, remember that the big thing that was said was, hey, it was a little trickery, that he made people feel small. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't go great. Nothing bad. Remember, go back to those Todd McShay interviews. Specifically said, hey, nothing bad, nothing out of the ordinary or nothing crazy. But we just kind of got a bad vibe with him. This is, so you skipped the production meeting. And if you don't know, typically production meeting is, if you're calling the game between the quarterback, get some insights. They have a little extra intel as they're calling the game. That's what's going on, right? So I'm someone who's going to be fair. To be fair to Ross Tucker, hey, I understand it might be frustrating not to talk to Shedeur, right, and not to be able to get that speak. And instead, first off, you should be honored to speak to LeJohntay Wester. Let's get that straight. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But on top of that, I want to stress something because the negative things we've heard about Shedeur Sanders, they don't match up with the things that y'all perceived him to be. They don't match up with him being a 5th round draft pick. These are things you hear about somebody dropping to the 3rd round, dropping to the 4th round. The talent's not there. Hey, he's going to drop a little bit. We were talking about, and you can look it up. I think PFF did a ranking of it. This is the largest margin of draft stock drop. We're not talking about just, it's a big drop. No. Historically, because everybody had him rated as a 1st round pick. That's not something that Shedeur Sanders and CU aunties just thunk up. That's not what happened. No, everybody had him as a 1st round pick. Ross Tucker, that's the reason why you were answering to GMs about it. But what I want to say is, what did he say right after that? He said, the GMs, we've been hearing stuff like that. You've been hearing stuff like he isn't talking to you. Remember, look, listen to what they're saying, guys. This has been my entire point, that it's not that I don't think that Shedeur has done some of these things. I believe he was wrongfully punished and they were looking for a reason to punish him. They just needed any small little, oh, he skipped a production meeting in college. Terrible person. Yeah. Bad leader. Yep. Yep. Let's go ahead. Let's label him. Oh, he said in the 5th round that he didn't want to go to these teams. Oh, terrible person, terrible guy. Don't want him on the team. Like, the perception matched with what he actually did, it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't, because I know of a dude named Mike Green, right? I know that he had actual assault, and I don't want to say too much, accounts going back to his high school days. Yes, multiple accusations going back to his high school days. Shout out Living Life 365. And with all that being said, you want me to think the same NFL that will look past someone beating a woman, look past touching and having allegations of inappropriately touching young people, inappropriately touching women, all these things. Mike Green at a Marshall defensive end, I'm telling you, a MAC defensive end, fell to the 2nd round when he was thought to be a 1st round pick because of his production, right? The juice isn't, that's the juice not being worth the squeeze. That's somebody who is a top level guy sliding in the draft. What happened to Shedeur seems to be a concerted effort of trying to misunderstand, of trying to miscommunicate. Nobody trying to go out of their way to truly understand why. He said to himself, well, I wish I would have asked him. Then why didn't you ask him? Why not? If you felt so upset, if this was such a big character defining moment for Shedeur Sanders, oh my God, it's so that you right there, you found reasons as to why it couldn't. But when you told them GMs, oh well, I didn't get to talk to him. Well, I mean, that's what we're hearing. They're hearing that he doesn't talk to people. Is that supposed to be some negative? Is that what y'all want me to think was the thing that made him have a historical fall after being a 1st round? It's not adding up. It really isn't adding up. And this is where you're telling yourself, right? Go ahead, Ross Tucker.
Listen, I still remember, guys, I'm not kidding you. My grandfather, okay, who played in the leather helmet days, like God bless his heart, he hated Deion Sanders so much that in 2004, I was starting at center for the Bills against the Ravens. And this is when Deion came back and was playing for the Ravens. He offered me 10 grand to take out Deion in the game. My grandpa, okay? I was 25, he's 85, okay? He doesn't even know what a bounty is. He doesn't care, but he hated how much of a showboat Deion was that much. So I think that's where some of it comes from, is that people either loved or hated Deion, and so now you're on that side, one side or the other, and you take it all out on Colorado football and on his son.
Hey, Ross.
Okay, so again, I'm happy that we're getting into some honesty, Ross. I'm happy that we're getting into the fact that you're a very biased person, and these NFL GMs were talking to a biased person who is biased before he even heard you. Do you think, and this is what I want you to know, Ross Tucker, in your infinite, journey, your infinite wisdom, and everything else in between, you're telling me you can come up with, oh, by the way, my NFL, old playing grandpa, he knows Deion XYZ. I'm in the NFL. I'm in and I'm getting told these things, told to hate Deion from my grandfather. You're telling me none of that instilled some sort of bias towards Deion Sanders? You're telling me possibly maybe the ways that you were asking about Shedeur and asking for these things, maybe you came off the wrong way. I find it so interesting that in all of these situations, right, in all of these accounts of Shedeur Sanders, specifically the negative ones, it's always so one-sided. It's always, well, I was just so nice and I was just trying to be so polite, and then, oh my God, Shedeur punched me in the face. Like, dog, come on. Dog, can we be honest? Can we have an honest conversation about how cause and effect happens? Can we be honest that you just gave up the fact that you had preconceived notions of not just the Sanders family, but Shedeur and showboating? Those things don't just go away. Your grandfather had been telling you that since you were a kid. So you go into these interviews with already a predisposition. You probably asked some things in a stank mood because people like testing Deion Sanders. And I've heard about you, Ross Tucker. I haven't heard not one positive things about you, right? You probably had a bad attitude. You probably asked in a certain way. And again, this is just accusations, right? Because I don't know what happened. What I know is what you're telling me, and I know that even if what you're telling me right now is true and he just didn't show up, what does that say? He just didn't show up? Not that he doesn't know football, not that he was rude to you, not that he whatever. You sent that request in because, again, there's part of that. You sent the request into the school. So the school gave you an answer back. And now you're attributing that to Shedeur. You see how nasty that gets? You see how nasty it is to put Shedeur on the hook for something the school clearly did, something that the coaches clearly did, right? Because the school didn't tell you anything about LeJohntay. The school clearly brought LeJohntay there, right? And of course, you discredit LeJohntay. Oh, LeJohntay Wester. Yeah, a well-respected former FAU South Florida dog. Yeah, someone who caught lots of passes from Shedeur, and somehow you didn't find a way to get any value out of that. So good job, Ross Tucker, at doing nothing, okay? And good job at exposing what is really going on. And I want to hammer something. I want to hammer something very particular because I'm happy this comes out this week because as we know, Shedeur is doing what he normally does, giving back to communities. We're gonna watch a little bit of that clip, but I want us all, in all seriousness, right, to start retroactively thinking about the hatred towards Deion Sanders, towards Shedeur Sanders, the uneven level, right? He admits that there's such this big dichotomy between the people who like Shedeur and Deion and don't like Shedeur and Deion. He openly said it, hey, they're taking it out on Colorado. It's almost like, are you listening to yourself? You know it's not justified. You know these types of things don't make any sense. You know these things aren't that. And this is the one thing I want to step on, right? Why didn't you talk to him? Because again, in all of this interview, in all of what you're reporting, Ross Tucker, at no point did you say Shedeur was rude, that Shedeur was mean, that Shedeur was anything. You corresponded with the school. And the school might have told you something, wrong, left, or otherwise, but you not being a man and walking up to Shedeur and saying, hey, like you just, apparently now you have the wherewithal to do it. Hey, why didn't we get to talk? If you would have done that and Shedeur said, get the fuck out of my face, hey, you can go run and tell that story. You can, hey, I would be like, hey, Ross Tucker, you know what? People might not mess with you, XYZ elemental P, but you know what? That thing happened, and I have a real account of that. But even with y'all report, again, going back to the rumblings heard from the combine, oh, he makes people feel small. He seems to not really care what we think. Can we add those together, guys? Do you get why I make so many Shedeur videos? Do you get why I seem to defend Shedeur? Because we're talking about vague platitudes of, I didn't get to talk to him. I think he's a bad person. He kind of didn't grovel to me, so I'm just, I don't think he can be an NFL quarterback. They were searching for something. They were looking for a justifiable reason to humble Shedeur Sanders. And again, I'm not saying that because I believe in tinfoil. I believe in Occam's razor. I believe in the collusion case that the NFL and NFLPA just ruled to keep all of the findings personal with. That had to deal with the Browns giving Deshaun Watson 100% guaranteed contract. That's not me making anything up. Go ahead. If you're watching this video, go Google search NFL collusion lawsuit. Go ahead, Google search John Gruden lawsuit. Go ahead and Google search Brian Flores lawsuit and see that every single 3 months, Brian Flores keeps making positive change. I'm not I'm not even telling you what the conspiracy theory is. I'm not going to tell you how it is, why it is, or why it not. But don't look me in the face and tell me that a league that is being sued currently for collusion, and that collusion has been, or the findings have been suppressed by the NFL and NFLPA. So us laymen can't know exactly what's going on, and to the extent at which they colluded, right? But you want me to think that they would never colluded ever before? They wouldn't do that to somebody like, Deion Sanders, who was outspoken, who probably ruffled a lot of feathers against the Giants and every other team, and FSU alumni. And Deion Sanders has made a lot of, I don't want to say enemies, a lot of people upset, because enemies means that they've wronged them in any way. But when you hear the things that they have done, didn't do an interview, what? Acted like, hey, maybe I don't need y'all in my life. Maybe I am self-confident in myself that I don't need the approval from these random people that just so happen to be a part of an NFL team. I'm so sorry. But those are the biggest gripes that I've heard from Shedeur. Nobody has told me he's not a hard worker. Nobody has told me that he doesn't do what he's supposed to. In fact, every single time, whether it's the head coach, whether it's Jerry Jeudy, whether it's Myles Garrett, whether it's Tommy Rees, every single person, Mary Kay Cabot is leaking. Everything they leak is Shedeur is doing what he's supposed to. So on a day, Ross Tucker, when you decided to ensure that more negativity was spread about Shedeur, this is what Shedeur Sanders was. Well, he was already, first off, he's been doing this. This has been a month-long project. We reported on this when it first happened. But here he is actually giving that car away. And, that interview that people tried to, again, they tried to say, why is Shedeur? How dare he be at a car dealership? This is what he was doing, by the way.
I was trying to get you a car earlier.
I'm so sorry, Shedeur. I cannot believe I'm on the phone with Shedeur.
Hello?
Hi, this is right.
How you doing, Miss Tori? This is Shedeur Sanders.
Hi, time, Bustina. Oh, I love your family. I'm sorry, though. I love your family.
Your kids nominated you to get this free car we giving out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so now we definitely excited, and we definitely hear you're a hard-working woman. We just want to help you out.
Yes, sir. Oh, God. Oh, I can cry.
Nah, don't cry. Don't cry. You ain't got to cry.
My engine blew out. My cry. I've been walking and doing freaking Ubering.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of you for sure.
Oh, God.
Are you able to meet us at the dealership tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
All right, we got you. Yeah, well, now we'll help you get to the dealership.
And I don't want to spend too much. I want y'all to make sure y'all go support Shedeur. Go watch the full video. But I do want to watch this little thing right here, because I think this is pretty funny.
Yeah, he do. You can do it, nigga. Oh man, Deion, I love you. Good boys.
Well, I guess it's a wrap, folks.
God bless you. God bless you. Yes.
I feel your prayers too.
Oh, I think you touchdown.
Yeah.
I'm an Eagles fan, but I want to see Shedeur.
Hey, she said she an Eagles fan, but she wants to see Shedeur. So, and a lot of people might argue, why do you need to publicize these things? Why do you need to all these dog? It was a marketing campaign. That's why. That's why he recorded it, because the Kia, the local Kia is doing a marketing campaign. That's how giveaways work. But again, people want to act very obtuse when it comes to Shedeur. People want to act obtuse when it comes to the Sanders family. I don't get it. You're feigning this ignorance to paint people who have done nothing but give back to the city. And I'm not talking about just this one time. I'm not talking about just going to the high schools. I'm not just talking about working at a D3 I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders and Aiden Hutchinson, by the way, or Aiden, I forgot his name, my man Aiden. I forgot what his last name was, but the defensive lineman that rocks with Shedeur, and he was undrafted free agent that's been following him, and they've been locked in. They were the only Cleveland Browns players that showed up to that local Cleveland community after they had a gas explosion. And I talk about it, and I'm gonna continue talking about it, because for the love of everything is holy, I don't ever hear about these things that Shedeur does. I don't hear it from Bustin' Boys, Pat McAfee. I don't hear it from what's it called? Even Tony Rizzo, Tony Grossi, Ross Tucker. I mean, there's a lot of things that are speculated about Shedeur, but the actual truth of him going, right, giving back to his community, giving back to his local people, that's never reported on. That never goes viral. Right now, shout out to my man Goose because or Gucci. I forgot how to say his name, but you know he's a Colorado guy, right? But I mean, this got 10,000 likes. This got 3,000 likes. I mean, but it's not the same. It wasn't the same when he did his little mime thing and everybody wanted to call him out of his name, right? So I wish when y'all lied, y'all wouldn't tell on yourselves. That's what I wish. I wish y'all could tell a more consistent lie. But things are going to keep this is going to keep happening. You're going to start seeing the actual truth of what's happening. And for what's crazy to me is not one truth that has been revealed. It exposes Shedeur for what they've been calling him and what they want to call him and what they perceived him as, right? But the things that they are ignoring definitely paint the picture of somebody who, you know, is a God-fearing man and continues to give back to his community. But they don't like that. They don't want to portray that. But let me know how y'all feel down below in the comments. Like this video if you like it. Dislike if you don't. Subscribe if you like this. These types of content. Again, I kind of yapped and rambled about this, but it really is one of the main reasons why I made this channel, because I made this channel to talk about football. But a big inspiration of doing what I did during the draft was that I can kind of see the plays that were being made. I saw the lies that were being started to be shared, and I got to be honest with you, I'm happy that it's starting to slowly reveal itself, the truth of it all. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Mr. Ignorant, it's Georgia week. It's Georgia week. Yeah, I know. We do need to talk about some college football. We do need to talk about a little bit of college football. We'll talk about Arch Manning, but I did want to talk about this too. I got to talk to the chat for just a second. I got TikTok going live. I got YouTube live. My man Deontay Lewis, though, he was saying something. And I know he wants me to talk about Jalen Hurts. Thank everybody who watched my Jalen Hurts video. Thank y'all. Again, I'm expanding the content. I ain't going to stop doing Shedeur content. Let's not get that, you know what I'm saying? We don't ever get that mixed up. But I do want to start adding some different flavors for you guys. You know what I'm saying? It can be a little repetitive seeing Shedeur every day, right? So give you some Eagles stuff. Give you a little Jameis Winston video that we're going to do. And I just thank all of y'all for rocking and rolling with it. I'm not ending the stream or anything. I just ended that video. I am gonna yap to the chat for a second. Facts, big Eagles fan, but 12 is my guy. Hey, even Deontay said it as well. Can you try me? Jealousy is real. You know we got to work twice as hard to go just as far. Ask Jalen and Lamar about that. You know, Lamar Jackson is one of my favorite examples of the truth of the NFL, right? And everybody wants to pretend. Everybody wants to act like they don't see what's happening. Everybody wants to pretend like everything's all sweet. They tried to make Lamar Jackson a wide receiver and a running back. I was there. I remember. And that was back, you know, as a kid, I loved the mobile quarterback. Vince Young, obviously, being a Texas fan. Vince Young, that was my guy. I wanted things to work for the Titans. I loved watching my main man, Michael Vick, of course, you know, one of the best to ever do it. So the idea of a mobile quarterback was something that always really caught my attention. It's something that I always wanted to. I wanted somebody to redefine what it means to be a quarterback and be black, right? And like that dichotomy of, hey, you're just an athlete, or you're just this, or you're just that. It never made a lot of sense to me. So, you know, when y'all did all of that with Lamar Jackson saying, oh, he can't throw, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he's such a great running back, though. I always knew what that was. I always knew that was them trying to paint what they were seeing as something else, because it's so interesting to me that there was this early on, Lamar Jackson had this like reputation of being a bad thrower of the football. It's not like he had, you know, one of the worst receiving cores and a bunch of tight ends, because that's what it was. He had bad wide receivers. Name me Lamar Jackson's best weapon. Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers. Like, if those are your best wide receiver weapons, DeAndre Hopkins past his prime, Odell Beckham past his prime. Who is the wide receiver that Lamar Jackson was throwing to that was this all-world guy at the wide receiver position? He threw to tight ends, and Mark Andrews that dude, right? And now all of a sudden people got the stank mouth because Lamar Jackson is historically has the highest QBR in history of the NFL. He has it, but they wanted to put him in this box, right? And it's so funny to me when I make these videos and some people be like, "Oh, what? You think the NFL just cares about who's gonna win them the most games?" No, they don't. They've shown that they don't. They've shown that it's a bunch of owners with an obscene amount of money, right? And they look at their NFL team as like a little playground, right? And they're gonna put their fingers where they want to. They're gonna make the effects that they want to, right? And it looks the way that it looks, right? Don't ever for a second think that the NFL is just some meritocracy where the best players get out there. Dog, why? Then tell me why Trevion Henderson. The Patriots. Tell me why Trevion Henderson didn't get no play. Tell me why, and Deontay Lewis is going to go crazy when I say that. Tell me why Trevion Henderson had some beef with Mike Vrabel and he wasn't getting touches and they finally get him touches and he has like 8,000 yards. And you're trying to tell me that the NFL isn't about egos? What about infamous one? What about the Super Bowl? Right? And I forgot his name, Malcolm Butler, I think it was the cornerback that got benched before the Patriots lost that Super Bowl game. Right? Nobody knew why he was benched. He was just benched that same day. Bill Belichick found a way, and that was the tail end of Bill Belichick starting to lose it. Starting to lose what he had in what's it called with the Patriots, right? We've seen this countless of times. We've seen countless situations where people's feelings overcrowd what should be done. We've seen this 1,000 times where people's egos as owners or coaches or regime leaders have stood in the way of people playing real football, right? So I just don't understand. I'll never forget the smile on my face when the Eagles traded their pick and the Ravens took Lamar. Man. And Just a Girl says, and let's not forget Lamar Jackson was included in that collusion case. Yes. Okay. So Just a Girl. And you know, I'm not even making a video about that. I want y'all to know I'm not recording. I'm just talking to y'all. That, yes. So Just a Girl does know the collusion case. I'm happy y'all looked it up. So I want to break this down. I want to break this down really quick. Actually, let's pull it up because we're going to take a small little detour because I don't want y'all to think I don't want y'all to think I'm lying or anything, right? NFL collusion. We're going to go down the rabbit hole. Here we go. Oh wow, and Pablo Torre seemed to do something on it too. So we're sort of NFL and union seemingly colluding seems like sort of a big deal. Has Bill covered it? That's hilarious. Agree to keep collusions. Okay, cool. So, and I want to read over this because you know, I find it so odd that so many people just assume that the NFL is above board. Right? Why is it that when we talk about Shedeur, it's, oh, well, the NFL would never do that. The NFL would never do this. Well, let's see what the NFL has been doing. They've been hiding some skeletons in their closets. I'll tell you that. NFLPA collusion. This story, this is just from a Reddit post because how many times have you seen ESPN talk about the NFL collusion case that's actively going on right now? How many times has NFL Network talked about the NFL collusion case that's actively going on right now? How many times has your favorite Browns media member talked about the active collusion case that stems from Deshaun Watson Brown's contract? How many of them have talked about it? They won't. They don't want to talk about it. The only person I see talking about it is who is this? Pablo Torre. I do see NBC Sports. Wait, isn't that Pablo Torre too? Yes, yeah, or Mike Florio. A little bit of NBC. Is this ESPN? Okay, here it is. Here's some ESPN, but this ain't no main ESPN. 3 months ago, 13K. This ain't no. Come on now. I want Stephen A. Smith talking about the collusion act. So let's get into it. So source NFLPA, NFL agreed to keep collusion finding secrets. Again, what do they talk about? They talk about it in articles, which people don't read anymore, and they put it in their YouTube and they bury it over there. No, why ain't Stephen A. speaking about this? The NFL and senior leaders of the NFL Player Association, confidently agreement that hid the details of arbitration decisions from players, including a finding that league executives had urged team owners to reduce guaranteed player compensation. Multiple sources told ESPN. On January 14th, arbitrators Christopher Droney ruled that there wasn't sufficient evidence of collusion by owners in contract negotiations with quarterbacks after the record fully guaranteed contract signed by quarterback Deshaun Watson in 2022. Any such collusion to keep salaries down would violate the collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and the union. But Droney concluded that the NFLPA showed a clear and preponderance of the evidence that Commissioner Goodell and the league general counsel Jeff Powers had urged owners to restrict guaranteed money in players' contract. The confidentiality agreement had been kept details of the 61-page ruling secret until 2 weeks ago when the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast published the document and created a stir amongst union members. Some players told ESPN that they were surprised by details in the rulings and that they didn't understand why the union hadn't shared the ruling with them. On Tuesday night, nearly 6 months after Droney's decision, the NFLPA, led by Executive Director Lloyd Howard Jr., decided to seek an appeal of the ruling, a senior union source told ESPN. The appeal is a reflection of our obligation to enforce the CBA and our commitment to protecting our players' interests. The source said, we'll do what's best for our players and it will exhaust the options in doing so. The arbitration case centered around discussions among league executives, owners, after the Cleveland Browns signed Watson to a record $230 million 5-year fully guaranteed contract on March 18th, and whether his talks affected quarterbacks Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Russell Wilson. None of the three signed guaranteed deals. And I'm not even going to go that deep into it, right? Because we have other things to talk about. We're going to get into it. I want y'all to understand that, and again, it's so funny when some of these dweebs, some of these bots try to comment under my, I've been watching football for a long time, right? In lots of aspects of football. And one of the things in contract season, right, in the off season that happens is when a new contract gets signed, it sets a precedent. It's called resetting the market. This isn't some crazy thing. It happens in NBA, happens in almost all sports, right? I understand that when Deshaun Watson got a fully guaranteed contract after dealing with sexual assault. No, let's just talk about it. No, let's talk about it. After having multiple SA victims, he got a fully guaranteed contract. You're telling me Lamar Jackson, 2-time league MVP, doesn't get a fully guaranteed contract? You're telling me, who else were we talking about? Kyler Murray, who still got a boatload of money. He doesn't get a fully guaranteed contract. Russell Wilson, Super Bowl champion, multiple Super Bowl appearances. He doesn't get a fully guaranteed contract. Why is that? Why of all the players to give a full, and I'm not saying that it's Deshaun Watson's fault. What I am saying is you're seeing the action being done. There was a fully guaranteed contract. And then if y'all remember, because this is where it gets real nasty. It gets real spooky for the NFL. And this is why the NFLPA, which if you talk to NFL players, and this is just from my Pat McAfee watching everything, NFL players don't like the NFLPA. They don't respect them. They feel like they don't do the right job. When they do these little court cases, the NFL sets up their own arbitrators. So it's people from the NFL ruling on NFL cases that have to do with the NFL. Come on, dog. Come on, man. You want me to believe that y'all ruling over y'all own problems is going to do it? And you got this weak-ass player association that hasn't been able to get any guaranteed money since the last guaranteed contract, and you want me to believe that nothing fishy is going on. Y'all remember when Lamar Jackson was up for his contract? Oh, the Falcons, we don't even want Lamar Jackson. Well, Merry Christmas. You got a quarterback who's 26 with 2 broken fibulas. Michael Penix throws footballs like he's a lefty, but he's a righty. Wait. He like a righty that's supposed to be lefty. He throws footballs like Ben Simmons takes free throws. Like Ben Simmons trying to shoot a 3-point. It don't ever look right. It looks like when you take those Tua Tagovailoa videos and flip them. That's what it looked like. And I like Michael Penix. He torched my Longhorns. Shout out Washington. But come on, dog. Nah, we don't even want Lamar Jackson. We don't want the highest efficiency passer in the league of NFL, the highest QBR in the league of NFL. We don't want one of the most legendary 2-time MVPs. Nah, we're not gonna give him a fully guaranteed contract. Y'all niggas, I don't even believe it, man. I don't even believe it, man. Golly. Oh yeah, and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts too. That one, yeah. And shout out to my man Deontay. Jalen Hurts contract. Jalen Hurts got a nice contract. Look, these are some nice contracts. None of them had fully guaranteed in them. And you want me to think that that's... Oh yeah, the NFL, they would never do anything like that. And then I don't know if you believe in coinkydinks or coincidences, but you want me to then believe the same player, the same team in which the source of this collusion effort came, that the same collusion effort or collusion lawsuit that is now trying to get swept under the rug, the same team associated with that just so happens to get Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round? And he's not playing, and people are debating, is it Andrew Berry or is it the owner, and people don't know whose pick it is? That's interesting. That's really interesting. But hey, man, who am I, man? I'm just a dude with a large forehead yapping, right? I'm just a dude with a large forehead yapping, okay? Now, something that really gets me confused is the fact that when we take a peek at everybody outside of the Browns organization or even the Browns organization, the consistency right now is people are confused. We're confused about what is going on with Shedeur Sanders. You got Tony Rizzo talking about it. You got other people talking about it. You got Mike Wright saying that guy does not like Shedeur Sanders. On Kevin Stefanski saying he will stick with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. So the dogs say it's not just the Browns fans who are dumbfounded by the team's insistence on playing Dylan Gabriel. Even the best fantasy football analysts don't understand it. Mike Wright from Fantasy Footballers had the same reaction we did when Kevin Stefanski said the Browns are sticking with Gabriel, right? Here is Content Browns. I mean, he does tweets, right? But he's a part of the Browns community. He says, if you're still taking Albert Breer, Aditi, I don't know who Aditi is, Ross Tucker, we just talked about Ross Tucker, or Mary Kay Cabot serious at this point, that's on you. They shouldn't be permitted to speak about the Browns. They're either dead wrong at every turn or propaganda artists. Now, I don't think they're dead wrong at every turn, but I do think they're propaganda artists, and sometimes propaganda is easily exposed as lies, right? Because that's a part of what propaganda is. And I've told y'all, look, Mary Kay Cabot, and I say she doesn't tell lies because she doesn't tell lies. She tells propaganda, right? She's reframing certain things because the team wants her to reframe those things to send a message, right? So that's why I do check in on Mary Kay Cabot's word. You just got to kind of read through the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You got to read through what is and what isn't truly going on. So let's get into it, right? Let's take a peek at NFL on CBS. How do they feel about this situation?
In a lost season, which clearly this is a lost season again for the Cleveland Browns, you were going to see Shedeur, and I thought for a little bit that Dylan Gabriel would be able to hold it off. That, okay, he's going to play well. They won't lose because of Dylan Gabriel. It's hard to say that they didn't lose today because of Dylan Gabriel and, of course, bad special teams play by the Browns. So I don't know if it's this upcoming week. I don't know if it's the next week. But sooner rather than later, I think we will finally see the debut of Shedeur Sanders.
Sooner rather than later. And you know, because the big question now that has been, you know, what's it called? The big question that has started to spring up now that, you know, Shedeur isn't starting is that, you know, why didn't he beat out Dylan Gabriel? Why isn't he playing X, Y, Z? And all of those things are just ill-founded, right? They're not based on the things that happened leading up to the season. They're not based on what we've been seeing, what we've been reported on. But, you know, when we have somebody like Tony Rizzo saying similar things, right?
Kevin, why the hell is it this kid can't get on the field? Is he that bad? Say something. Tell me, is he not working hard enough? I want to hear it from you. Is he working hard enough?
I think that's been an issue.
Why?
Because of the stories.
There was nothing coming out of Colorado that said this kid wasn't a hard worker.
But he was the starting quarterback and the coach was his dad. Now I think it's a different situation. I think to be
You're
kind,
saying
I think
you
it's
don't
been a
think
difficult
Shedeur is
transition.
working hard enough to get on the field.
I think that there are people in the building who feel that way. Yes.
So and this is what I mean. And I told y'all something about Tony Rizzo and Tony Grossi, right? I want you to notice that they have not reported that. Right? The same people who reported that, hey, Dylan Gabriel's going to start, and he started. The same people who report everything, that get the leaks first, all that stuff. Remember when Rex Ryan, right? Remember when Rex Ryan put out that, he's not working hard enough, and then it was immediately debunked, right? It was immediately debunked by him actually doing extra work. And then Darryl Reuter came out and said that he was doing extra work. I want you to know they're just speculating at this point. Oh, I think somebody thinks he's not working hard. Well, then why hasn't Tony Grossi said it? And that's been my litmus test for all of these like little. Well, why haven't we heard? Well, why haven't we this? Why haven't we? I mean, what's going on, right? When Tony Grossi doesn't even know what to explain, right? Go ahead.
I can't explain what they're doing either. You have a coach who won't even say his name. And do you realize that ever since our Justin Cooper broke the viral video interview of Shedeur, right, where he said, I'm better than what I see out there and all that, they have stationed a PR rep at all times watching Shedeur in the locker room to make sure to intercept, let's say, any interview attempt.
You think they don't like when he talks?
Well, I don't know, but it just seems like that interview was a turning point in maybe in relations. I don't know, but since then, I don't think the coach has used his name once, right? And he's asked about him once or twice or three times a week. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You have Tony Grossi, I'm trying to tell y'all. You're telling me that Tony Grossi is reporting that these are things that y'all in my comments have been telling me. Hey, what's it called? Kevin Stefanski won't even say Shedeur's name. Now Tony Grossi is saying it. Now Tony Grossi is confused at what's going on. Now Tony Grossi, again, I'm telling y'all, Tony Grossi has reported anything under the sun. He will slander Shedeur anytime he gets, but he doesn't even dare to pretend like he knows what's going on. He doesn't dare to pretend that, he's not working hard enough. They might ask, well, is he? Ask the question, is it? Why don't you have a leak of it? Why don't you have a source saying, hey, Shedeur is not ready? Nobody ever says it. And so that to me is confusing. It's confusing me when Shedeur's number one opposition, right? He can't even put anything on it. And then you go, again, we're going to go to different non-Browns media. What do they got to say on the Rich Eisen show?
What do you think the Browns are up to?
Oh, God. It's very hard to say. Listen, at this point, I think they're trying to end up with as high a pick as they can. It doesn't make any sense to me trading Pritchett and Flacco, and they can't get the benefit of his talent versus the young guys. I mean, they're doing the right thing and seeing if either the young quarterbacks have what it could take, or they just have to pick somebody this year. They could lose all five of their offensive linemen at the end of the season, or decide they're not good enough. And they just had a draft that, at least in Cleveland, was covered as a great draft without picking one offensive lineman, even at the end of the draft, to possibly develop. I just don't understand. I mean, that's just a way off base team building philosophy. To me, they got to get back to basics. They got to make some front office changes. They got to get to the point where they can dominate those lines, and hopefully they get a high enough pick that one of the quarterbacks that's there is their answer.
So, I'm trying to put all the pieces together. I want you to know that I'm somebody who I stood here and I said, hey, look, is there a possibility that Shedeur is doing something that is rubbing people the wrong way? Yes, I think there is a possibility. I think you can't be an adult and live in a world where, hey, there has to be some personal accountability on some things that Shedeur does. My issue the whole time has been there's been no consistency in reporting, right? There hasn't been this consistent, he's not working hard enough, because it's funny. That's why Tony Grossi, and even though he probably brought it up, But Tony Grossi is the same person who said he was working too hard. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember when he hurt his shoulder and now he's doing too much and XYZ? Yeah, he's actually working too hard. And now you want me to think that, oh, maybe it's because he's not working hard enough? Oh, somebody in the building, they don't, you know what I'm saying? They just don't like him. Oh, they got a PR with them. They got a PR person with them at all times, making sure that he can intercept the questions. I don't know why y'all didn't do that earlier, right? I don't even understand. I don't understand it at all. If it was that big of a deal, right? So we're gonna sit here through, I guess, another week of them lying, right? Another week of them, you know, just throwing speculative things about Shedeur, and that's where this has been the root cause of everything. I want it to be known. I did a video, even in this stream, talking about this Ross Tucker situation. Everything that's reported about Shedeur, there's never anything concrete. Nothing's ever concrete. Nothing's ever specific. Ross Tucker said, oh, I didn't get to talk to him. And then I ended up just not talking to him when I had the chance to clearly walk up to him and say, hey, introduce me. I decided not to do it. I didn't hear anything. So I told GMs that I didn't get to talk to him. Well, not getting to talk to him doesn't mean he's a terrible person. Not getting to talk to him doesn't mean he has a bad attitude. Not getting to talk to him doesn't mean he hates you, Ross Tucker, which apparently you thought, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Your grandfather hated Deion, right? So clearly there were some vendettas that was easy. Clearly you were making assumptions quite fast instead of asking a question, hey, why is Shedeur not answering these questions? Hey, Shedeur, the person you admitted you saw him with your own eyes, right? And you didn't go up and ask him a question. That same person, right? It's always been, and you know, because I really do think that there's truth lies somewhere in the middle, right? The truth isn't that, you know, I don't think that Shedeur is completely blameless, but I also know that Shedeur is not some terrible person. I know that he's not some not hardworking person because y'all tried to paint him this way. Hey, 3 weeks ago, wasn't Mary Kay Cabot reporting that Shedeur Sanders was making great strides and he's improving every day and XYZ doing what it... So where are we pulling this out of our ass that, oh, well, maybe he's not working hard enough? Y'all don't have any information. Y'all don't have anything concrete. So you assume that you can speculate on what's going on. Because you know nothing. Because you don't have the information. I gotta assume the worst. I gotta assume that Shedeur is the only person not doing here. And again, the only reason why I don't think that, I'm just looking at the facts. I'm looking at a quarterback room that has never been handled the right way. Right? I'm looking at a quarterback room that hasn't produced a good player since Bernie Kosar. Right? Like, I'm looking at a Browns organization that everything they touch, even if it's world-renowned players like Myles Garrett and Joe Thomas, that it's mediocrity at best. If I look at the stats, the facts, and the history, what would make me think that I should trust Mary Kay Cabot when people around the Browns are saying I shouldn't trust her? What makes me think I should trust any of the Browns media? What makes me think I should trust Kevin Stefanski when his best season was with a slightly younger Joe Flacco and Baker Mayfield with half a shoulder? There's not a lot of facts that you can show me that tells me I need to believe these ways. Hey, I need to just think that Shedeur isn't working hard enough. When people outside the building, right, are saying it doesn't make sense. They're calling y'all a tank. Clearly, y'all are tanking. Clearly, y'all don't want it. Clearly, it's something that they're just vying for a higher draft pick because nobody believes this stuff. Nobody does. And let's take a peek at a few different things. This is from Speakeasy, and I have a problem with Acho. I think Acho he makes some bad arguments, but we're gonna listen to two clips from Speakeasy, right? We're gonna listen to my man James. And then we're also going to listen to Acho, right? And we're gonna listen to them yap on a few different things. Obviously, Shady's in there too. And then, we'll give our opinion about some outside looking in former NFL players, how they feel about the situation.
If Kevin Stefanski says Shedeur not playing this season, all of Black America will riot.
But why can't
everybody gonna riot?
But you can't be mad if
every hood, every MLK Boulevard, every Cesar Chavez, everybody rioting.
And I'm black.
There's no way you would continue to roll out Dylan Gabriel, who the fans are tired of seeing.
Shady tired of
the
seeing.
The team tired of seeing. The public perception and personas are tired of seeing. And his offense is tired of seeing. There's no way you can continue to do this ignorantly if you're not safe. If Kevin Stefanski says Shedeur not playing this season, all of Black America will riot.
But why can't
everybody gonna riot?
But you can't be mad if
every hood, every MLK Boulevard, every Cesar Chavez, everybody rioting. Everyone rioting.
So here's the problem with Acho. Acho is a complete cornball. So instead of making, maybe a more eloquent conversation, he says everybody's all the hoods are gonna be here. And again, thanks, Acho, for dumbing down the conversation and making something that you clearly have no idea to talk about. You can't speak on the culture. You can't speak about how people interact with the culture, because when you do, what you do is you make it this overly cartoonish, well, Cesar Chavez and everybody, like, dog, that's not what I get the point that you're trying to make, Acho, but you're embarrassing yourself. Shout out to my man Kieran. He's a Texas fan. You're really embarrassing yourself. I don't think Shady's having a good time with it. However, there is a real conversation that needs to be had, right?
Kevin, where do we start with him, though? Because, like, your job is to be a head coach of this team. Get him in the best position to win. Obviously, you guys haven't been winning. You're on 5 in the division, and you are 2-7 right now. You got a quarterback in Shedeur Sanders who everybody thinks he's really, really good, or some people don't think he's really, really good. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Because the quarterback you have right now is just playing okay. He ain't doing nothing special. Special.
Yeah.
Right? You got a situation where you're trying to figure out, do we need a quarterback for the future? Do we have one now? Like, you're trying to figure this out. Why not let him play? Because the route y'all going to be drafted number 1 or number 2 pick or number 3 pick overall again. Find out. Do I got to go deep in this draft to get a quarterback, or do I have one? And every time he gets up there in the podium, we're going to stick with Gabriel. I truly think that he does not like Shedeur Sanders.
Look, I think I naively have said that, hey, I think Kevin Stefanski, not that he doesn't like Shedeur, but more that he likes Dylan Gabriel so much. My man BK, he left the comment. We were getting into it, and we kind of had this conversation. And I stand on that. I stand on the fact that I think that Kevin Stefanski is trying to prove a point. And Shedeur Sanders only stands to get in the way of that point, right? So that's kind of where I feel. But I think it's so funny that, again, these aren't Colorado disciples. These aren't Shedeur Sanders disciples. These are fantasy football people, Shady McCoy in NFL CBS, all these different accounts, not like actual accounts, but like accounts as a person saying all these different accounts of, hey, it just seems like he doesn't like him. Like, and I want y'all to know that doesn't happen very often. I want it to be known the only people who are theorizing that he's not working hard enough are people in Cleveland media who are just guessing. Everyone outside looking in says, well, that situation doesn't make sense. And I want to end this on 2 things, because I've been, as Dylan Gabriel gets worse, people, boneheaded people are starting to use this as an excuse of, well, you see, Shedeur is so bad that he can't beat out Dylan Gabriel, right? And I want to make sure that we all know a few very important things, right? The few things that need to be pointed out is that, one, the initial leaks were that last 4 games are Shedeur's, right? So I'm not even that worried about it. I'm more worried about the fact that on a slow news day that Tony Rizzo and all these other pundits are making up accusations of him not working hard enough. That's what I'm upset about, because if we stuck with the facts and the leaks said, hey, don't worry, Shedeur gets the last 4 games. That's what's been reported, right? So how we got to, but Shedeur is lazy, he's this, why can't he get on the field, yada, yada, yada. Kevin Stefanski, or whoever leaked it, because Mary Kay said it, whoever leaked it said last 4 games. There are multiple reports, also from outside the Browns organization, that have said last 4 games. We've been over that, right? So if he has the last 4 games designated to him, why are we now assuming and presuming that he's not working hard to leapfrog Dillon Gabriel? Kevin Stefanski has a history of not benching players that play ass. Go ask a Browns fan. He's sticking to his guns. Last 4 games. And that's what it's going to be. But it's real nasty to have some perception or try to put it, oh, well, it's got to be Shedeur's fault, right? It's real nasty to me. And then my last thing, and this is something that we brought up 1,000 times, guys, he's not even getting first-team reps. Oh, well, he clearly hasn't done good enough in the other reps to get first-team reps. Even when Joe Flacco left, he didn't give him first-team reps because he said that Dillon Gabriel needed more first-team reps. And looking at the product on the field, he clearly hasn't gotten enough. Clearly. Right? So those who say he can't beat out Dillon Gabriel, he never had a chance to. Dillon Gabriel was the presumed backup for the future, handpicked by Kevin Stefanski. It was never fair. And life's not fair. I'm not mad at it. The Browns are terrible. So, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like any skin off my back. But the fact that, again, a man who's not playing, who's I thought he was a 5th-round pick, right? I thought he was a backup. I thought he was a 4th-string guy. Why does he need to have this otherworldly reason he's terrible, he hates me, he's flipping over things? Why does that have to be the case? What happened to him just being a backup? What happened to him just taking his time and developing? Now it's Shedeur's fault that the Browns haven't made him ready. And this is where I'm gonna land this. If Shedeur isn't ready at this point, that is on the Browns. I know people don't want to talk about it. Personal accountability seems to only work in one way. And don't worry, I saw that super chat. I will talk to you, brother. Thank you for the $5, Doggy Bone. I'm gonna answer. But I want to land this plane. I want to land this. Like I said, why does personal accountability only stop at Shedeur? I'm going to be someone to say, hey, maybe Shedeur wasn't the best. Maybe there were some things. Maybe he rubbed some people the wrong way. That's great. My issue is then why do we not think that the Browns are incompetent? Why can we not also look at the Browns and say, y'all have never developed anybody. Y'all have never had a good plan for quarterbacks. Y'all have never done anything with a quarterback that's positive. But you want me to be mad at the rookie for not being ready to play, but you don't want me to be mad at the team that handpicked and reached on a 4th and 5th round pick when you could have got offensive line depth, when you could have got wide receiver depth, when you could have got cornerback depth, right? All those things that the Browns are glaringly having issues with. You got 2 quarterbacks, and the one that you've given first-team reps since he stepped on campus looks like he's playing worse and worse every single day. Why would I think anything else except for the Browns are failing these quarterbacks? But again, that would take too much common sense. It really would. Now, to the super chat, Doggy Bone says, late to the party, FB. Anyone mentioned Ross Tucker today on UCSS basically said his grandpa would pay $10K to take out Prime on the field. We did talk about that, right? And since you gave the $5, my biggest issue with that one, because I know you did miss it, you're going to have to scroll back, but we did talk about it. My biggest thing with what he said, it wasn't even about the whole, hey, my granddad had a clear hatred towards Deion Sanders, and I'm supposed to assume, Ross Tucker, that didn't, wave off on you. This is what I want to say, because that's one thing. Another thing is, because I think sometimes we don't listen to the things people say and like break down. Put yourself in those shoes. That's when you hear Ross Tucker say, hey, I got out this interview and I see Shedeur Sanders right there in the car. In the back of a truck right there. I could have, this is what he says, I wish I would have went over there and said, hey, introduce myself. Hey, I'm Ross Tucker, and ask him why he didn't do that. Instead, and this is what he said. He said he saw that, didn't say anything to Shedeur. He probably got his feelings hurt. Yeah, That and I don't want to speak for him, but he probably got his feelings hurt. He thought he was gonna get to speak to Shedeur, but the first off, the legend is LeJounte Wester. When he walked in, you felt played, you felt upset. Oh my God, why don't I get to talk to Shedeur? And then you get the opportunity to talk to him as a man, not in a production meeting. Because, again, production meetings are about, hey, let me know a little bit about the team so I can have some intel so when I call the game. A production meeting, you're not going to learn much about somebody. This is a manufactured thing so you can get intel for you to call the game. Right? This is for you, Ross Tucker. This doesn't benefit Shedeur. So when the team said, Shedeur's not doing it, here's LeJounte. Instead of walking up to Shedeur and saying, hey, what's going on? You ran and told every GM you could that, oh, well, actually, Shedeur, he didn't even want to show up to my thing. And that's where it gets real insidious, is because y'all want to paint these little small little things as complete character defining moments. But when I bring up the charities that he does, when I bring up all the things he does to give back to schools. When I bring those things up, everybody don't want to talk about it no more. Nobody wants to bring it up. Nobody wants to focus on it. Hey man, same man. But let me read a little bit of the chat for a second. Shedeur never complains because he knows the plan. He knows he's QB1. Why can't people see that? Get out your feelings. Hey man, same man. Don't play, man. Don't play, man. Doggy Bone says long life. BK said he needed a reason to justify why he was picked in the third. Interesting. Shedeur gonna play Kevin playbook. He's gonna find when he gets in. Savage Gal says Rizzo said it. Rizzo said what? What did Rizzo say? Doggy Bone, yes. The messed up part is that Shedeur has known Roger Goodell since he was a child. Those people are wicked. How much worse can the Browns look if they put him out there? Hey, man. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. Love me some Shedeur. First off, that's a fire at. Only 4 games so they can guarantee a number 1 pick. They have to lose some more games. Some people are theorizing that last 4 because Deshaun Watson gonna get 4 too. I don't know. We're gonna talk about. That's what we're gonna talk about next. We're gonna talk about Deshaun Watson next, man. We're gonna talk about Deshaun, and then we're gonna go right back to Shedeur. Dark Queen says, I'm a Patriot fan, but a Shedeur auntie. I feel bad for the people who support the team. When Brady left, that's when I started to know what losing felt like. It sucks. But nah, y'all been doing this. Hey, I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Texas fan. You feel me? I got the Oilers hat on. Love Moves 332 says, what's hilarious is watching people get a kick out of seeing a young black kid get screwed over and rationalized. That makes Dylan good and Kevin smart. Kevin wish he was that powerful. Interesting. Danish said they're going to put him in there when the weather is the worst with not enough prep with the team. Shake my head. And then K. Carl says Shedeur is not going to throw into dirt and invisible players. Who knows? Jashawn Richardson says Shedeur, 23, 4-year, $4 million contract. Andrew fixed Jimmy, $250 million mess and QB1 issues with Shedeur. Trust they Jimmy are business people first. I'd love to see it. Only question Cleveland media should be asking is when is he taking first team reps? That's true. Mr. Brownie God says the media asked a former coach about Shedeur Sanders getting first team reps, and he said, "Why would Kevin reward him?" I was like, "What the f?" Yeah, that's a weird, but that's the NFL though. Like I want y'all to know, like my biggest thing is that I agree that the regular that NFL is not gonna like the way Shedeur operates. They don't like the way Dion operates. But my argument is I don't give a fuck. Like my argument is that the NFL is wrong, right? It's not in the world you're supposed to mold to these systems, but why? Why is it that I can't do things my way? And when you try to do things your way, they try to punish you, not for harming anybody, not for making people, it's for making people feel uncomfortable, making people feel small, exposing that there's other ways to skin this cat and there's other ways to be a positive young black man. It doesn't have to look a certain way that certain people want it to look. That's been the main issue with Shedeur. And that's why I'm saying, I believe that there's a world where that happened, where Shedeur rubbed people the wrong way, but you're not, and this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to take that and then make it this bigger thing of, and you see, he's actually a terrible person. He's actually a two-faced. What? Like it's people purposely trying to misrepresent the things that are being seen, right? And we see that with Ross Stark. We see people who have had decades of hatred towards the Sanders name, and people want to act like there isn't any hatred. Like and again, it's not from Browns people, BK. We ain't doing this today. We ain't doing this today. But there are people outside that don't look and don't like the Sanders name. It's not just Shedeur. It goes a lot deeper than that. So very interesting, very interesting, very interesting. Deontay says, my argument is I don't give a fuck. Nah, that's a fact. I deal with that in real life over far less money. I can only imagine what it's like when hundreds of millions are in play. Yeah, man. And then Detroit Cat says Grossi is just trying to spin or spread another narrative, which blames Shedeur for Kevin Stefanski not saying his name, which is false because Kevin wasn't saying his name even before that. Shedeur is not the problem. Yeah, that's a good catch too. He is trying to make it somehow. Oh well, Shedeur had to do something for Kevin to not like him, or when he said that thing, blah blah blah. Or, it upset so many people, and it gets to a point that like, my God, when does the NFL team have any accountability for this? When does the NFL team get held accountable for not developing players, for not making a player ready, right? And it's so crazy because I remember, and I'm not even putting this in the video. This is just me talking to chat. I'm not sure how many of y'all remember, but when Shedeur Sanders was QB3, everybody used that as the clearly they don't want him to be QB2 because they don't trust him. And now he's QB2. Now people are like, well, why isn't he automatically starting? Why is that? I swear to God, Shedeur Sanders has gotten more negative press for being behind Dillon Gabriel than Dillon Gabriel has got for week after week having a worse QBR every single week. Everybody wants to talk about what's wrong with Shedeur. What's wrong with Dillon Gabriel getting the most first team reps out of any quarterback on that roster combined? Joe Flacco didn't even get first team reps. Remember, because he's old, so they didn't even give him any preseason first team reps. Why is that not looked at as, hey, maybe the Browns didn't do that right? Maybe the Browns aren't, with just two quarterbacks on the roster, maybe they're not developing right. I don't understand how that question never gets asked. But alas, it is what it is, right? So, BK says, and I know this is another question. Deontay says the NFL will never be held accountable. That's true. My question is, what does the NFL gain from tainting his name? That makes no sense to me personally. Seeing Shedeur's base, why would the NFL collude? I still can't see the logic personally. It's always about money. Deion is Shedeur's agent, so I'm sure he knows when Shedeur is starting. Shedeur just got to keep working and stay ready. I do want to answer to that, BK. Why would they want to paint his name? And I want to point this out. I don't think it's Roger Goodell doing it. I think it's, maybe some owners, maybe some higher ups, XYZ. I want y'all to know it doesn't have to be the entire NFL. I think it's like literally 3 to 4 teams, but 3 to 4 teams is all it takes. 3 to 4 teams is all it takes. Just if they felt, slighted, BK, like that is where it comes from, right? And here's the thing. I would not say that they are slandering him because because it's easy to just sound delusional, right? You can't. There has to be some personal accountability, and that's why I agree that, hey, Shedeur is not everybody's glass of milk, right? He's not. He don't fit the mold of an NFL quarterback. I said that again pre-draft. Probably. I implore y'all, if y'all think I'm a Shedeur Glazer, I implore y'all to go back in time. First off, I am a Shedeur Glazer. Hey, what about it, right? But on top of that, I'm pretty fair. And I've been open, even when that first initial leak came out, that, oh yeah, Shedeur probably rubs people the wrong way. He's not your prototypical quarterback. He's not cookie cutter and all these, he doesn't give these whatever bullshit answers. That's just not him. And I can see how that rubs people the wrong way. I can see how Deion Sanders wanting to be what he wants to be and give back to Texas communities and do all these other things and uplift people and redefine what it means to be in the NIL era. Try to teach these young kids financial literacy. See, they don't talk about that. Everybody right now is getting off their firing Deion Sanders. You know what Deion Sanders did all of offseason when he wasn't battling cancer? He was talking about NIL reform. He was talking about not only NIL reform, but also, go back to the BYU press conference, he was talking about making sure that these young gentlemen had financial literacy as they come into these millions of dollars. It is always about money. But more importantly, you know what makes them more money? Being able to control a young, talented group of individuals. Ensuring that a Shedeur Sanders who can walk out the NFL probably make more money streaming, and to ensure that his power isn't the same. To ensure that when he walks out the NFL, he's looked at as a failure. That is where it comes down to real tricky business. And I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying I'm looking at all the facts. I'm looking at all the before people hated Shedeur back at in the HBCU days. These things weren't said about him. At Colorado, the worst thing y'all had was an out of context interview and a tweet. That's all y'all had on him. And now you want me to believe that now a year or years later, all of a sudden he's just this terrible attitude dude? It just don't add up. It really don't. It really don't. But anyway, let's get into this next video because now everybody. Dang, Roku took my money, man. Roku done took my money, man. That's crazy, dog. Right? In the realm of Cleveland Browns quarterbacks, there has been one large, inappropriate weight looming over the entire team, the entire quarterback room. See, sometimes we've referenced the quarterback room being 3, being 4, being 6 people at one point because there's been a number 4 in the background that to this day still hasn't even been cleared for actual practice activities. Hold up, we got a super chat, $4.99 from Otis. He says, why would the NFL collude? They have colluded multiple times and the NFLPA agreed to keep it secret. They hid the findings. Otis, see, that's why we here with it. We actually went over that. We went over the fact that there is an open collusion case after, and again, there's too much. It makes too much sense, guys. You get what I'm saying, right? Like, I don't believe in coincidences, guys. You're telling me the same, even let's just say the collusion, let's say the collusion went down and a real lawyer, it's, non-NFL based a judge looks at it and says, you know what, this isn't collusion actually. Let's just say that. You're telling me that the same team in which the collusion lawsuit stemmed from, right? Because it stems about Deshaun Watson getting a fully guaranteed contract. That's what it's about. You're telling me that same team is the team that gets Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, like, why would that not be a way to punish Jimmy Haslam? Hey, Jimmy, you're gonna have to draft Shedeur, right? We want to draft him really low. Right, we want to make sure we keep on. And again, I could be wrong. I'm telling y'all wrong. We're just speculating. Like they like to do. Appreciate the $1.99. But it's not lost on me that collusion has been a thing. It's not lost on me that it just so happens to be the same exact team. Like, come on, man. Come on, dog. I don't understand. But Shedeur Sanders said he didn't want to go to the Eagles and he didn't want to go to the Ravens. We've already talked about that. At that point, he wanted to be a free agent because when you're a free agent, you get more choice over where you get to go, right? And you notice how they tried to make that a big deal. But anybody who's been in the NFL knows that it's actually better to, when you get to the late rounds, you want to be a free agent so you can pick where you go. But nobody had their common sense thinking caps on them because, of course. But it is what it is. Big Triz, he says, there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's called a pattern. what's it called? Is somebody mad? All right, cool. Let me get back to the video. Let me get back to the Deshaun Watson video, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna start yapping to you guys again, right? Well, let's hear the most recent updates from Mary Kay Cabot, as well as head coach and some other things concerning Deshaun Watson, because at this point, it seemed like we might get to see Deshaun Watson play football this year.
The Browns not opening the 21-day practice window for Deshaun Watson this week. Do you expect it to be opened soon enough? And what do you expect to happen once it gets open, Mary Kay?
It's a big mystery, but I do expect them to open the practice window at some point this season, unless something unforeseen happens with some of his medical exams or something like that, or any kind of a setback in practice or whatever. And he's not practicing with the team right now. He's only working out on his own. But I do expect them to open his practice window, and I could see it happening within the next 2 weeks. Don't know if it's going to be next week as they get ready to head out to Vegas, or if it will be the week after. But I do think that it's going to open at some point over the next couple of weeks.
So, that's Mary Kay Cabot speaking to the fact that, and I want to stress this, and we've talked about this 1,000 times. Understand that Mary Kay Cabot is not just a reporter. She is a mouthpiece for the Browns organization. She leaks things, right? Just like when she leaked that Dillon Gabriel was going to be the starter the day before. Guess what? Dillon Gabriel was announced as the starter. So I say that, and the reason why I do follow up with Mary Kay where she's going is because she clearly has direct inside information. Somebody in the organization uses her as a mouthpiece to float things out and to kind of preamble things, because everybody knows it's easy to yell at Mary Kay and, oh, you're stupid, Mary Kay, blah 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 blah. So they almost use her as a buffer between their decisions that they make. So don't be surprised when 2 weeks on the dot that 21 day is open, because that's just typically how it is with Mary Kay in the organization. Now, thank you for the $4.99 Chef Boy Rod. He says, hey man, love the show. Do you think Stefanski's hand is tied by Jimmy? I think that it's a trifecta, right? I don't know if Jimmy wants Shedeur, if Andrew Berry actually was the one that wanted Shedeur, right? And I do want to point out the only person that we know that Kevin Stefanski handpicked, right? The only person we know that that's my guy, was Dillon Gabriel. That's the only person we have reported. Everything else is Andrew Berry, right? And again, that's very specific. That's put out there by Mary Kay, by the Browns media for a certain separation. Don't get it twisted. They want Kevin Stefanski going down with the Dillon Gabriel shift. Hence why I think Kevin Stefanski is trying so hard for Dillon Gabriel to have a good game, because I'm almost certain that, similar to Brian Daboll and what's it called? What's his name? Brian Daboll and Jackson Dart. That is a, hey, go get your guy. And for some reason, Kevin Stefanski's guy was a 4th and 5th round graded guy who can't even operate in his offense, so much so that he had to give up offensive play calling. Oh, y'all forgot about that, right? Yeah. Everybody just went back to shitting on Shedeur. Y'all forgot that Kevin Stefanski just last week was so bad at calling his offense that he specifically made a wide zone offense that mirrors the Oregon offense that he was running in Oregon, Dillon Gabriel. Somehow Dillon Gabriel looks like a deer in headlights every single time he's out there. Interesting. Disco Drip says, basically what all these people are saying towards Shedeur is, how dare this blank make us feel small? You can fill in the blank yourself. This is what I want to say. When that reporting came out, I knew it was over. I knew we weren't dealing with, because I told y'all, go back. I was under the impression that, hey, maybe Shedeur did something to piss somebody off. Maybe he really was in there with his headphones in, even though that's never been corroborated. Even though the leaks from Todd McShay, it's never been that Shedeur is rude. And that's been my point the entire time. My point is not that I don't think that Shedeur didn't maybe have a bad interview. Maybe he didn't do good board work. Maybe he wasn't expected to be ambushed, Brian Daboll, in a private conversation. Right? Now, we can argue what's right, what's wrong there. But as soon as this is open reporting. That means somebody told this person this when they leaked it, and they were fine with it being released. And they expected for us, or more importantly, other NFL execs to make them upset, right? These are the types of egos we're talking about. We're talking about somebody so egotistical that Shedeur Sanders didn't even do anything bad. All he did was rub people the wrong way. Oh, he's a little too confident. He makes me feel small. He makes me feel like, and these are direct quotes. Go look them up. Hey, Shedeur Sanders acted like, oh, he didn't want to get approval from us. He's almost like he didn't want to be here. Not that he was rude, not that he was bad, not that he was. The only thing that y'all can concretely say is that he made y'all feel small. That's when I knew it was over with. What do you mean he made you feel small? What do you mean? So you and your ego needs to be stroked. You want a quarterback that also is going to make you feel good about yourself? Oh, but I thought the NFL was about who played the best. I thought that's what it was about. Except when it comes to certain things, huh? So interesting. It's always meritocracy until the actual leaks. And that's what I think. A lot of people just read the leaks, the worst interview ever, and then they didn't read it. But when we read it, you're like, wait. This sounds like no offense, this don't sound like what a man does in a man interview. When you're negotiating a business deal, and that's been my whole point. The NFL is not about doing business with these young men. It's about putting these young men in their place, and that's white, black, turquoise, whatever. The NFL is based on having a man be obedient to other men. Hey, I'm gonna pay you a bunch of money, but you need to be obedient to me, and not just obedient. You need to respect this level, and that's fine in the military. It's even fine in college football. But one of those things that makes Mike Tomlin that level of guy, Pete Carroll that level of guy, these coaches, right? These player coaches that know how to handle these big personalities and know how to better speak to these people as men to men, right? They seem to have pretty long careers. They seem to have players that respect them and what they do. But Kevin Stefanski isn't that. And Brian Daboll definitely wasn't that. I mean, he was in love with his favorite whites, Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo, the CTE brothers, right? But other than that, it's not the same. Interesting. It's just interesting, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But let me get through this video. Let me get through this video, right? I ranted there for a while. I've been ranting for a while, right? So, with all that being said, with Mary Kay basically telling you that, hey, it's about time that we see Deshaun Watson, I do want to speak about a few things. And this yap is going to be coming from a Texans fan. Yes, I am. I know that's the Oilers, but we had it first. Don't tell the gosh dang Titans fans about it. As a Texans fan, Deshaun Watson puts he's a very special person to me, right? Probably the greatest quarterback, if not greatest quarterback season from a player. What's it called? That I had seen, obviously before C.J. Stroud in my young career. Obviously, we had Matt Schaub's of the world. We had Brock Osweiler, T.J. Yates, Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was a lot of sadness. It was a lot of sadness at the quarterback position as a Texans fan. So Deshaun Watson was this large beacon of light, right? National champion winner since high school in Gainesville High School. He's been known as a winner. He's been known as and I don't want to dox myself too much. I'm not from Gainesville. I don't live in Gainesville, but I lived in the North Georgia area, right? And literally, he was, I think, 3 or 4 years, like before I was a freshman. I think he's like a good chunk older than me. So like it was like when I was a freshman, he just left and he was just at Clemson, and people were talking about the legend, and I was hours, like legitimately I was hours away from Deshaun Watson's high school, just to be honest with you, just like radius, right, from Gainesville High School, and I was still hearing stories about Deshaun Watson and how amazing, like, so this is somebody who he affected me at a high school level. And, obviously I watched college football, one of the crazier runs for college football playoffs and all that other stuff. And then you come to my team and have one of the greatest, at that point, the greatest rookie campaign for a Houston Texans quarterback. And then you take us to the playoffs. You give us game-winning drives. Like Deshaun Watson, right? And this is what, shout out to the people in my chat. I really don't believe in coincidences. I believe in patterns, because it's so crazy how I'm making videos about the Browns, which is actually mostly focused on Shedeur. But now I get to talk about Deshaun Watson, who was an integral part of, my growing up as a Texans fan. I think that's a crazy overlap. But when I look at all of that, I say all that to say, obviously I was a fan before it happened. And we all know what it is in relations to Deshaun Watson. But I do think enough time has passed that we can kind of cope with the two parts of his career. There was a part of his career when he was looked at as literally like a fine gentleman. He was nothing but an upstanding citizen. I mean, he was a Dabo Swinney guy. Like, Dabo Swinney was known for, actually, now that you look back at it, Clinton Farrell, maybe there was was that whole Clemson national championship team just a bunch of freaks? Hold up. We need to look back. We need to look back. Who else was on that team? Was Sammy Watkins? Who was on that team? No, Sammy Watkins was too far back. We better watch out for them Clemson boys. I'm just thinking about it now. That was Clinton Farrell. Anyway, not the point. Not the point. There was a clear dichotomy at the way that he was presented before that happened, and now, especially with the injuries and different things and all the allegations and yada yada yada. Like, I don't even want to get into that. But what I do want to get into is the fans' perception, right? And somebody who, look, again, I've been following the Browns, social media space at this point, keeping up with the media and stuff like that, and kind of how Browns fans feel. There's nobody they hate more than Deshaun Watson. I got to be honest with you. It's a very, if you think there's a hate-love relationship with Shedeur, nah, man. This month right here, this is like a real deal hate. This is celebrate when you injure hate. Like, as for as much hate as Shedeur gets, I don't think people would celebrate if he got hurt. I don't think if something tragic happened to Shedeur, I don't think people would be being negative. They would throw a parade if something bad happened to Deshaun Watson, right? So I'm gonna title this video "Browns fans do not want Deshaun Watson," right? And the reason why the video needs to be made is because this is a little bit more complicated than you think. Here's a random Browns fan saying, and shout out to Deshaun, he went ahead and posted his cryptid. He's been big on IG, right? Kind of like we've been talking about. He's been working out by himself, and this idea has been thrown around about when he can come back, and everybody is ready to pick a new quarterback. But guys, y'all still owe him like another $100 and something million. Like y'all owe him a lot more money. Like, and it's like we talked about ad nauseum today. It is fully guaranteed. So he gonna get that money no matter what. So for everybody who is jumping up and down about, the Browns are going to get their quarterback of the future, it would be so idiotic to draft, to reach on a fourth round quarterback, then get a fifth round quarterback that you don't give first team reps with, don't figure out what he is, then you bring Deshaun Watson back, who's going to cost you a whole kidney, and then you draft another young quarterback. How does that make sense? How is that conducive to building teams? The Browns have set themselves up for a terrible situation, and their own fans don't even want him. Their own fans don't want this multi-$100 million value player to play. Insane. And Deshaun Watson, what he had to say was, had to walk a lot of miles to get here. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson gives an update on his rehab. And they asked him, do you think he will play this season? So here's a few more, from the Browns media, how they feel. And before we go into the Browns media, let's hear what Kevin Stefanski said when asked about Deshaun Watson. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I don't have, an update there.
Yeah, so eloquently put. Appreciate it, Kevin Stefanski. He has no update. So let's hear what the Browns media had to say about the potential returning of Deshaun Watson. Now, I want to point out something. I'm gonna do this. I want to make sure I do this like what do you call notification every time I do a video with this Tony dude. Don't ever believe anything he says. Like this sports boy Tony, what is his name? Tony whatever, Anthony Lima, real deal rage baiter. So anything he says, I'm not gonna agree. Ken Carmen, not a bad guy. Let's hear what they have to say though.
Okay. With all the problems that they have, that is pretty obvious to everybody who has eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to work either. Doesn't it stand to reason that the guy that still has, $96 million on his contract or whatever it is, and if they've already lost the fans. The fans, it's already going to be a hostile takeover.
You're going to lose fans even more.
When Buffalo, every fan's telling you they're apathetic anyway. So when Buffalo comes to
that's
town,
what they say,
and it's
but
all
that was
Buffalo
on
fans,
Monday.
like, why wouldn't they throw Deshaun Watson back out there at that point? Why wouldn't they?
You can name plenty of reasons why they wouldn't throw him back out there.
Which are?
I don't think he can handle it.
Oh,
when are they going to throw him back out there?
But you're saying
I don't think he can emotionally handle it.
Well, who could emotionally handle it?
Deshaun. He couldn't handle it before when he was 100% healthy. When he was healthy as a horse, he couldn't handle it. Now, he was rusty, but there is some guys have that skill. No matter, listen, guys, whatever is alleged is whatever. I'm pointing something out here.
Yeah.
There are guys who can absolutely clear whatever mechanism, and they do not care if you don't like them. They don't care if their home fans don't like them. They do not care. And they're going to go out there, and they're going to get their 50 points, or they're going to throw for 300 yards, or they're going to catch their 100 yards. They do not care. Those guys are few and far between. That's why they're called legends. Most guys, it has an effect on you when your own home fans don't like you and don't want to see you. So, you could play them. It better be one of them road games.
This is so crazy. So, here's what I want to say. It's so interesting to me. Again, go back to the interviews and remember that Deshaun Watson was literally looked at as the Michael Jordan of college football, right? That's what Dabo Swinney said. That's who he compared him to. Hey, this guy is just a winner's winner. He's a lifter. He's a guy that takes you over the top. The fact that being a part of the Browns organization, right, and doing the nasty things he did, but being a part of the Browns organization has I guess spiraled to the point that even somebody with that perception is now looked at as not having the mental fortitude to go out there and perform the way he needs to perform, owed almost another $100 million. It's a crazy far cry from kind of the journey that we've been on with Deshaun Watson, right? And this exemplifies what I'm talking about, right? The Browns fans want nothing to do with him. And I believe him. I believe that the Browns fans were cheering. I remember when he tore his Achilles and broke his foot. Like every single time he gets an injury, there's a literal parade that happens. Like it's a little bit shocking. It's a little bit shocking. But you can argue and you can debate if that's what is if that's what's needed. But it is what it is. And of course, I think a lot of y'all want to know, how does this affect Shedeur? Well, I think some of these people kind of speculated on 92.3 The Fan on how a Deshaun Watson potential comeback might affect Shedeur Sanders' tenure, right?
The later you give Shedeur chances this season, the less of a chance you're really giving him.
Yeah, you can't go to Deshaun first.
Yes.
That's an embarrassment if they go to Deshaun first. And it's something, I mean, I'll yell about it, we'll all yell about it, but at this point, I don't even know how effective we're being in yelling about these things. It seems like they do whatever the hell they want anyway.
The reality is, it makes total perfect sense that a desperate organization who, despite the fact they've already written Deshaun off and been like, man, that's on all of us.
Yeah, you got Deep Podesta in Colorado already taking blame. Jimmy Haslam's already come out and taken blame for all of it and tried to accept as much of it as he possibly can. I don't know what the win is if you're the Browns and throwing him out there. What's he going to do?
Piss everybody off.
That's it. That's the only thing he accomplishes. Even if he looks relatively good, you still have no faith in him moving forward in any reasonable capacity. So what exactly are you doing?
And these are... And I'm not saying these are anti-Shedeur people. I'm not saying these are whatever, but these are by no accounts. These aren't super pro-Shedeur people, right? These aren't people with a vested interest in Shedeur playing, other than the clicks and views they can get from reacting to it, right? But these are Browns media members who are deeply entrenched and understand the pulse of these fan bases, and they are corroborating that Deshaun Watson is a bit of a cancer to the Browns as fans, right? It almost, and from what I've been seeing and from what I hear in my comments and seeing in my comments, it's almost like a double piss in the face, right? Not a spit in the face, a piss in the face, right? Where real R. Kelly shit, where, you know, we're going to be ass, and the Browns have been ass, and they continue to be ass. You pay this dude who, you know, some people aren't very happy morally having on their team a shit ton of money. You don't just pay him, you pay him historically to the clip of a contract that still has not been replicated to this day. Right? Right? And he goes out there and his Achilles explodes, his foot explodes, and anytime he is healthy and out there, the offense looks absolutely horrendous. Only people who could have a reasonable offense were Joe Flacco and Jameis Winston for some ungodly reason, right? So, with that being said, you want me, because, you know, people, you know, the Browns fans, they tell themselves, the Browns media, they tell themselves, you're telling me the same team that got themselves into one of the worst quarterback situations ever, multiple injuries. This is going to go down as the worst contract ever, fully guaranteed. He's been injured multiple times. Forget, everybody was worried about more allegations coming out. No, dog, y'all couldn't keep him healthy. And when he was healthy, y'all couldn't have an offense that was productive around him. Why would I have any confidence about what the Browns are doing at the quarterback position when their most expensive asset at the quarterback position right now is their biggest problem? It's their biggest headache. Everybody wants to speak about Shedeur and what he's doing and what he's not doing and everything. The Browns signed a disgrace of a player. And this is not my opinion. This is the way the Browns fans think. This is the way the Browns media think. This is the way outside NFL fans and people look at Deshaun Watson. They look at him as a mistake, not just in the shameful things that he's done, but also in the shameful play that he's done. So you want me to think that somebody who was playing MVP level football, and again, he can be rusty, he can do whatever, blah, blah, but the last time we saw him healthy with time in the offense, XYZ, it looked terrible. You handpick Dylan Gabriel, he looks terrible. Joe Flacco comes back, he looks terrible. He goes up the road, he looks amazing. Jacoby Brissett looks like someone who could start football games and throw passes to people. And which is all you really need at this point. Because Dylan Gabriel can't even connect a 10-yard ball. That's not being mean to Dylan Gabriel. That's me watching football and seeing that he can't connect a 10-yard pass. Right? But in the same breath of everybody acknowledging that there's nothing positive that's ever happened at the quarterback position for the Browns, so much to the fact that a $96 million cap hit or $100 million cap hit, $100 million locked in, what's it called? What do you call it? $100 million, what do you call it? What do you call it? When it's your obligation, sorry. A $100 million obligation that you still can't find decent offense out of, but it's Shedeur's fault, right? That's why I tell you, I feel bad for Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel should not be in this position. The same offense that a world-renowned, people calling him Michael Jordan of the NFL. He did phenomenal things for a historically bad team in the Texans. My Texans led them to playoffs, did amazing things, all this stuff. He goes to the Browns, literally becomes dyslexic. The worst offensive output I've ever seen from him, and that's going back to Gainesville High School. But it's Shedeur's fault, right? I'm sorry, Dylan. I'm sorry, Shedeur. But it's real nasty, and it's even more nastier that the Browns fans will not accept what they're going to roll out there. Crazy times, man. My man Disco Drip with $4.99 says, Jonathan Peterlin is pro Shedeur. Nick Wilson is neutral, but objective. Wait. You said Jonathan Peterlin. Who's Jonathan Peterlin? Jonathan Peterlin. Oh, Jonathan Peterlin. I gotta be honest with you. Except Tony Rizzo, I'm not. None of these people are pro Shedeur in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I used to think Tony Rizzo was pro Shedeur, but every other week he's floating out ideas that Shedeur isn't what's it called, working hard enough and all this other stuff. So I don't know how I feel about it. David Jackson said Cleveland can't tank with a quarterback that is able to win. Watson will make tanking real easy. After he got hurt. No more allegations. Lamau, hey man, same man, definitely Diddy of the league. 80s Brazil says, imagine booing a player and you pay to see him. Bought a ticket or give TV ratings by watching. That equals dollars. Cleveland fans, yeah, they're in. Cleveland fans, and I probably shouldn't feel this way. Through all of this reporting and speaking about these things and, talking about it, reacting to stuff, at the end of the day, the biggest thing that I've, come to find out, but come to, terms with is that being a Browns fan is like infinite hell, huh? It's like being in Dante's Inferno, huh? My God, everywhere you get this high ticket quarterback, he's not only injured but awful, but then he's out of here. It's just so much. It's just so much going on, man. It really is. But we're gonna get into one more Shedeur video. Then we're gonna go to Jameis Winston video. Then we'll wrap this thing up. Mary, you're spot on. What did Mary say? Mary Johnson says the truth always comes out. It does. Joshua Richardson says QB1 activity, helping the community read energy, not words. If the Browns didn't have a horrible quarterback situation, the world economy would collapse. The Browns have mastered the creation of making quarterbacks trash. They don't want to play Shedeur. He'll break the curse. Dark Queen says, DG always looks like he's serious uncle that no one wants to be around. Old ass magic tricks. That's messed up. 80s Brazil said, Dylan can always fake an injury and get off the field. I think he's trying to get off the field by throwing interceptions. David Jackson said, Mary, you're spot on. I read that. Nuke L. Law said, Peter Lynn loves his some Shedeur. Has since the beginning. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know about Peter Lynn's game. Yeah, that's multiple people telling me that he's actually a real deal Shedeur fan. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, it's okay to be wrong. I could be wrong now. Mr. Brownie says Kevin's offense hasn't been great with the Browns. How is he this offensive genius? But I haven't seen any flashes of that. And then Shedeur's Cleveland kind of. Mr. Brownie, God, that's my thing. And by God, I'm not gonna do another video on it. I might do it another day. But the defending of Brian Daboll is one thing because, look, Brian Daboll was known to be an offensive guru. He did do some great things for Josh Allen. He has made some offensive stuff. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a multiple Super Bowl champion. Brian Daboll does need to be respected, right? I'm way more upset at Dan Orlovsky going on ESPN or wherever that was, Monday Night Football, and talking about some, the Giants need to be looking out for Kevin Stefanski if he gets fired. What? Why? And I'm not going to go too deep on this, but I want you to notice what types of mediocrity gets rewarded in the sports world. I want to make sure y'all pay very close attention to what sorts of mediocrity gets rewarded. Dan Orlovsky is the mid defender. That's what I like to call him. We call him Chavi. That boy be center defensive mid all day long, right? It's a soccer joke. I know y'all don't watch soccer, but it is what it is. So, I can't wrap my head around a coach with multiple embarrassing losing seasons with the type of money that was spent on the roster too, right? I can't imagine those two things happening, and then he gets a better head coaching opportunity at a bigger market. Are you serious? He's been handpicking quarterbacks, or the quarterback he handpicked, he can't make into a positive player. But Dan Orlovsky thinks that Kevin Stefanski can go up to New York and he'll just figure it out as the head coach. What has he shown that he can do that? And I don't want no phantom Coach of the Year awards. Coach of the Year awards are as in this is. I'm not saying they're invaluable, right? And this is what I'm saying. A Coach of the Year award is like a comeback player of the year award to me. Got it by default, dog. Hey, you came back. You look good. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't think that Joe Flacco winning comeback player of the year meant that he was the most elite quarterback. It just meant that he was a good story. DeMar Hamlin died and came back to play football. They didn't give him comeback player of the year. That's crazy. That nigga died. I'm sorry. That is still the most disrespectful shit in my mind. That nigga died. He died and came back to life, and they didn't give him comeback player of the year. Wow. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into this. Look, I am a Shedeur Glazer, I'll admit it, but one thing that I'm trying to tell y'all is that the Shedeur Sanders versus Dillon Gabriel competition, it's not a real competition, but it is frying the minds of Browns media, right? We're gonna watch a few videos, we're gonna see a few things here, and at the end of the day, they are confused, they're scared, and they don't know what to make of what this is. Why is Dillon Gabriel the same person that they reported on being a supercomputer, that they reported being leaps and bounds ahead of everybody? Remember, because that was the early reporting. The early reporting was from Mary Kay was that Dillon Gabriel was so ahead of Shedeur, that's why he's not getting first team reps. And now all of a sudden, people are trying to say that he's not working hard. Interesting how the narrative shifts when the original narrative doesn't have enough legs for you. So we're going to go through a few things. First, I'm going to start with Tony Grossi. Everybody knows Tony Grossi, one of the biggest Shedeur haters of all time. Honestly, it's impressive the way he hates. It's a dedication that I aspire to get to one day, right? Now, Tony Grizzo says, Tony Grossi says, special Tony Rizzo, stat lines of two quarterbacks last week. One quarterback is a future Hall of Famer. The other is a rookie drafted in the 3rd round. And again, of course, he's just setting this up because he wants people to think that Dillon Gabriel in a loss, in a game where he could barely complete a 5-yard pass, in a game where he overthrew a screen pass, in a throw at a game where he had multiple drop picks, he wants you to think that he played a good game because Tony Grossi is about participation trophies. And so is a lot of the Browns media. That's what they want. They want participation trophies, right? Now, and it goes back to nasty things like this. Remember what Dillon Gabriel did. Y'all remember? I don't think y'all need any remembrance, but his QBR is going lower and lower every single week. We talked about the statistics and how awful he is from a film standpoint, from everything. This is what Tony Grossi had to say right after that stinker, right?
A week ago, I was disowning Gabriel. That was a bad game in New England. This was better. He actually outplayed a number 1 pick, Justin Fields. If you look at around the league, he outplayed Aaron, almost similar things to Aaron Rodgers, who played.
You're going to he outplayed the guys that had the worst week of their career card? Okay. That guy's not.
And I find it so funny that, the Shedeur, and by the way, if you want to know what these stats were, that's Aaron Rodgers. Because, he's not very intelligent. He doesn't do a good job at hiding it. You said it was Aaron Rodgers. We know it's Aaron Rodgers, right? So, good job, buddy. So, yeah, Aaron Rodgers has one of his worst games ever. And he's comparing Dillon Gabriel to him. Justin Fields threw for 54 yards, and 48 of those yards were on a screen pass. And he said, well, Dillon Gabriel played better than that. Oh, but Shedeur was wrong when he said that there was some bad quarterback play in the league. Which one is it? How delusional are the Dillon Gabriel fan base, right? The Dillon Gabriel cult is so delusional that they are comparing Dillon Gabriel to a 47-year-old ayahuasca addict and a running back. Those are the only people that he can compare. And you know what's really embarrassing, Tony Grossi, because it's so crazy. Oh, well, he outperformed Justin Fields. He didn't win the fucking game. Hey, good job. Good job outperforming Justin Fields. You didn't win nothing. Justin Fields played some winning football. Dillon Gabriel don't. In fact, the Browns are 0-5 away. Can't catch a win away. So now, again, we made a video about this, and we spoke about how Tony Rizzo, his cohort on Cleveland, on the Cleveland podcast, he was speaking about oh man, I mean, is Shedeur not working hard enough? And I told y'all what happens is they're not hearing anything from inside. The only time you hear something from an insider is Rizzo, if he reports it, if Grossi reports it, Mary Kay reports it. They have insider information, and they are told things directly from the organization. It's been proven. We've proven it. We showed y'all them telling y'all Dillon Gabriel was going to start 24 hours before, and then it was announced that Dillon Gabriel started, right? So now the Browns media, in a slow news week with another stinker from Dillon Gabriel, they got to come up with something. This is what our boy Anthony Lima, a rage baiter, this is what he has to say about it.
Now that DePodesta is gone, if there's going to be a power struggle, if guys are going to start heading for the hills, right? If all that was going on behind the scenes in an irrelevant season in which they're not going to win games, how in the world are we not hearing from people that Shedeur is really good and the Browns are botching
I
this?
don't know. I don't know.
Wouldn't we be hearing that from somebody?
I think you would.
Defense, too.
Well, wait a minute.
Defense
What about Mary
against
Kay?
them.
Doesn't Mary Kay say he's good every time he comes on? Or every time she comes on?
Yeah, but she also says Deshaun Watson is making big strides and is going to be ready.
Are they both making big strides?
I am not hearing
Wait a minute.
that the Browns are making some egregious mistake
the hell's
by
that cut
playing
sheet?
the guy.
So, and it's easy to know when you lie when you immediately get pushback and you have to move the goalposts, right? Immediately, Ken Carman says, well, actually, Mary Kay Cabot, and we've read those things. Again, we're talking about the number one of the top Shedeur haters, and on top of that, somebody who gets direct information from the Browns to leaks it, and that's the first person Ken Carman calls out. Actually, Mary Kay Cabot says she's doing something positive. How about Darryl Reuter? Huh? The same person you had on your show that sat right next to you and said, actually, my leaks have been reporting that he's actually working really hard and doing what he needs to do. And now all of a sudden, well, wouldn't we be hearing that he's so good? Mary Kay Cabot 3 weeks ago went on a glaze fest of Shedeur, saying that his accuracy is out of this world. It's so amazing. It's XYZ. What about Myles Garrett? When Myles Garrett was asked, he said he handles himself like a professional. He does things in a different way. What about Jerry Jeudy? Jerry Jeudy says Shedeur handles himself like a professional, does what he needs to do. What about Tommy Rees? Tommy Rees says the same things. So you ask the question, why haven't we been hearing that Shedeur Sanders is the right choice? And then I would, of course, answer to you, well, what first-team reps is Shedeur getting? Oh, none. That's directly from the head coach that Shedeur is not getting first-team reps. Okay, cool. So if he's not getting first-team reps, if Mary Kay Cabot and the reporters are reporting that he's more accurate, if in the preseason it was reported that Dillon Gabriel was throwing interceptions, if the quarterback tracker came out and every single time Shedeur was leading it with touchdowns in the red zone, doing great things, why all of a sudden, why all of a sudden is the barrier to entry? Well, we haven't heard any leaks from any players. Well, I'm going to ask a question to you, sports boy Tony, Anthony Lima. Why haven't we gotten any leaks about Dillon Gabriel being ass? Since the only way that we can attribute that is that, why haven't we had leaks that, Bailey Zappi needs to play? You see how just asking dumbass questions with no real intention, you see how I can just do that? I can just make up a parameter. Well, I haven't heard any leaks that Dillon Gabriel was awful in practice. So, am I supposed to assume that Dillon Gabriel is amazing? Oh, well, you haven't heard any leaks about, if everybody's falling apart, if everything's that. Y'all haven't heard any leaks about anything. What are you talking about? Y'all haven't confirmed any leaks nowhere. And I will give him, because I get what he's talking about. When Patrick Mahomes, people say, oh my God, Patrick Mahomes is so great. When Jordan Love was backing him, oh my God, Jordan Love is so great. But again, those aren't the same situations. Patrick Mahomes was sitting behind Alex Smith and was going to take over. Jordan Love was sitting behind Brett Favre and was going to take over. Trey Lance, because Trey Lance got the same thing. Trey Lance was sitting, presumed to take over. Now, out of those three quarterbacks, which one of them are stars? Bona fide, top tier. You heard leaks, right? And then all of a sudden, he just became some superstar. Tell me when. Oh, it was only one. It was only Patrick Mahomes. It's almost as if, and look, Anthony Lima knows this. He's old enough, and he's old in and wrinkly enough to know these things. He knows that the reason those leaks come out is to support and bolster these players. When have we ever heard leaks about, oh my God, he's so bad? Because undoubtedly Dillon Gabriel is playing bad. Undoubtedly. And I can see the way the wide receivers look. I can see the way the players look. I can see the way the offensive lines drop their head when screen passes get thrown into the dirt. So my question to you, Anthony Lima, is why aren't y'all investigating that? Why aren't y'all looking deeper into when Dillon Gabriel throws a ball in the dirt and look at Jerry Jeudy's face? Why can't y'all look about when he overthrows a perfect screen that probably would have went to the house against the Jets, and you see that wide receiver pissed off, boy? It seems like y'all are grasping at straws instead of looking at the thing that's right in front of you. Why would someone have to leak that Dillon Gabriel is bad and Shedeur is better? And first off, Mary Kay has, so there you go. Second off, we can all see that he's bad. Everyone's saying that he's bad. Everyone's saying that Shedeur is better. So what would it make sense for that to be leaked? And then on top of that, we got some intel from Tony Grossi that apparently a PR person has been stationed next to Shedeur everywhere he goes. Oh, isn't that pretty convenient? Isn't it pretty convenient? And I'm not saying that Shedeur would be the one to leak it out, but if you're telling me that there are people who are PR trained around Shedeur, you don't think there are people? You don't think those same PR people said, "Hey guys, don't say anything about Shedeur and Dillon"? No, because you assuming that you would have to, use your common sense. You would have to use, just regular pattern recognition. I dare you to find me an example of one of those leaks coming out. In A, that player being a phenomenal player when those leaks come out, and B, if it's in a scenario when he wasn't presumed to take over. Patrick Mahomes presumed to take over, right? Jordan Love presumed to take over and took over. Now his head's mashed potatoes. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what's wrong with Jordan Love. Trey Lance was presumed to take over, and you heard rumblings out of North Dakota State about him, right? But again, context and nuance, it doesn't matter when you're trying to get your head off. Context and nuance doesn't matter when it's a slow news week and there's nothing positive going on with the Browns. So everybody is just asking the question. Why don't y'all ask the question for someone who can answer it? Why don't y'all ask Mary Kay Cabot? Oh, well, nah, that don't count. Now all of a sudden Mary Kay Cabot don't count? Why has Tony Grossi not reported these negative things? Every time it comes out, I'm going to continue to say this. I'm going to continue to say it. You want me to believe that Shedeur is being, or there are leaks of Shedeur not doing what he's supposed to do. You want to look me in the eye and tell me Tony Grossi hasn't reported on it? You're telling me the same person who holds Shedeur Sanders preseason, only one of them, because only one of them happened apparently, who holds one preseason game over Shedeur's head every time he gets the chance to do it. You're telling me that same reporter wouldn't report the leak that Shedeur's not doing what he's supposed to be doing? That he's actually not as good? And the only other leaks from Darryl Reuter and Mary Kay Cabot is that actually he's been doing great? But nah, that doesn't matter. That, who cares? Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So let's hear about, and again, I really do think Tony Grossi's mind is fried. I do think the Browns media's mind is fried. Let's hear this little argument back and forth here.
What I saw on Sunday was a guy that just isn't a starting caliber quarterback in the league, because this is what I've seen from him majority of the time for the last 5 games. Tone, we see like certain scenarios, like the 4th and 1. Now, he should have not been throwing the ball. You should have just gave the ball to Quinshon Judkins and let him get the 1 yard. We all agree with that. But then they spread him out. They're saying, we trust you, make a play. And he eats a sack. And then at the end of the first half, it's, it's do or die. You have no timeouts left. You have such a finite amount of time. I think it was like 12 seconds or whatever it is, and you take a sack there as well. You're lucky that the field goal unit rushed onto the field and made a miraculous kick with about a half a second left on the clock. It's situational is what my issue is with him.
At that point, the game is tied 17-17, and you're unhappy with that.
I'm unhappy because he took a sack that could have caused them not to tie it. Like this, they're lucky that they got that off.
Come on, you guys. You're sounding ridiculous, Nick. Come on. He's a third-round rookie, and it's playing his 5th game of his life in the NFL, and you're quibbling that he was lucky to get that.
Tony, he was lucky.
But you see what I'm talking about, right? You see how they can hold one preseason game. Oh, Shedeur took sacks. And then in the regular season, when it matters most, he takes 2 of the most egregious sacks. The most egregious sacks. And there are excuses being made. Oh, well, I mean, he's just a third round pick, guys. You better say that when Shedeur goes out there. Oh, well, he's just a 4th round pick, but you're not going to say that. You didn't say that when he took all those sacks against the Rams. You didn't. You've been holding it over his head for months. For months. And you're telling me Dillon Gabriel goes out there. And that's what pisses me off so much about, the Cleveland media or whoever did this bullshit. I'm sorry. Whoever did this and nominated Dillon Gabriel as a rookie of the week when you have someone like Carson Schweringer on your team, this isn't even about Dillon Gabriel. This is about, talk about losing a locker room. You have an outstanding linebacker in Carson Schweringer, who, if I'm not mistaken, is either leading or top 5 in tackles amongst all rookies. I don't know how many of y'all remember, but Jock is gone. He was out for the season. Y'all forgot about that, right? Because Carson Schweringer, the rookie out of UCLA, has been replacing one of the biggest playmakers on defense for the Browns in Jock. I don't know how to say his full name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. An elite off-ball linebacker. Carson Schweringer has came in his rookie year, and he's filled those shoes through injuries and everything else in between. Right? He's not nominated for Rookie of the Week, but Dillon Gabriel is. Doesn't even throw 200 yards. If you put the receiving and rushing together, all right, you're just above 200 yards. 2 touchdowns. Phenomenal. And 2 egregious sacks. He took 6 in total. But it's okay because he's a third rounder. It's okay. He's really short. The Cleveland media has turned into a participation trophy media. And just a few months ago, and this is why I can't even take any of these people seriously, because they don't stand on things. They are mouthpieces for propaganda. Let me take you back a few months ago.
He's the second best quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
According to most.
Did your opinion on that change after the combine? Because we did talk about that a little bit last week.
I don't think it changed, but I think the gap closed between 2 and 3.
Okay.
Rather than 1 and 2.
Okay.
So he's still firmly number 2 in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of most teams.
We did talk.
He's the second best quarterback.
Sanders' draft stock is falling and falling fast.
I am not buying that.
Okay.
I think that Shedeur is going to be regarded as the number 2 quarterback in this draft. And it's not going to get anything worse than that. And I think there are, 4 teams in the top 7 that are looking for quarterback.
So, remember that I really can't take these people seriously. Shedeur Sanders drops to 144, was the biggest difference in draft spot versus ESPN pre-draft ranking amongst top 40 ranked quarterbacks since 2004. Ryan Nassib, right? And on top of that, it is still the biggest of all time. Guys, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in these things. The Browns media is fried. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to criticize somebody who plays quarterback badly. So how can I expect them to properly evaluate what Shedeur Sanders is doing? They've completely removed any credibility when specifically Tony Grossi, you can't take sacks, you can't take sacks, you can't take sacks. And Dillon Gabriel takes 2 of the worst sacks I've ever seen in my life on 4th and 1. And I want to go back to the idea that, oh, they trust Dillon Gabriel. It goes back to my point about Kevin Stefanski. I genuinely think everybody wants, oh, well, Shedeur is bad. It's because of this. It's because of that. Dog, Kevin Stefanski is trying to coach to prove a point. It's very obvious. He doesn't hate Shedeur. He doesn't think Shedeur is a bad quarterback. He doesn't want Shedeur on the team because he wanted Dillon Gabriel to be his guy. That's what he wanted. In a perfect world, Joe Flacco goes out there. Dillon Gabriel's right behind it. It is what it is. But he didn't get that. Somebody in the organization, everybody wants to make the story about Shedeur and what he can and what he can't do. Nobody wants to make it around who in the hell thought drafting and reaching on this quarterback who was 4th and 5th round mocked. Right, Tony Grossi, right? Because you talked about Dillon Gabriel all the time, right? In the pre-draft process, right? Why does he get all of this bail? He was reached on. He should have a shorter leash. You make every excuse under the sun for Dillon Gabriel. Guys, he's a rookie. He's only playing. It's only been 5 games, and in each of those 5 games, he's had a worse QBR. He ranks 29th in QBR, and he's still at the bottom half or bottom 3 of turnover-worthy plays. And you want me to sit here and say, he's just a rookie. He's only a 3rd-round pick guy. I'm sorry. He's only graded as a 4th to 5th-round pick. He's too short. Don't judge him. Don't criticize his poor quarterback play. And back to the 4th and 1, they trust him. They trust him on 4th and 1. That's what I mean by proving a point. How idiotic on 4th and 1 do you have to be? That is on the same part as 3rd down trying to throw it. The Seahawks against the Patriots. That interception on the goal line. Like, it's as dumb as that. You go empty with Dillon Gabriel on 4th and 1 and you think that's positive in any way? I don't know what you thought was going to happen on 4th and 1 with Dillon Gabriel. And then you see what's happening when people are still making excuses. It's an evil world we live in. It's an evil world we live in. Oh my God. Yeah, man, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It don't make no sense to me. But I'm tired of talking about negative things, all right? If you don't want to hear anything about Shedeur, I've Shedured myself out today, all right? I've talked about enough Shedeur. We talked about a little Deshaun Watson today. But I want to talk about something that's just a good feeling story right here. This right here. This right here is a good feeling story. So, if you're done with Shedeur, the Shedeur videos will be out. I'll probably have a Deshaun Watson video out, hit you in the mouth right at 9 o'clock in the morning. Y'all know how I get down. You know how I gets to it. So we'll do that. But this video, we branching out a little bit. We branching out a little bit, and this is a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? Now, ding dong, the witch is indeed dong. Whoa. We celebrated the fact that Brian Daboll got kicked out of New York, and really, it has a lot to do with the fact that you handpicked a quarterback, right? A young quarterback that you decided to run into the ground in desperation to save your own ass, to save your season. So much, in fact, that you made big theatrics whenever that same quarterback that had multiple concussions, the first time he had it, the one of 4 concussions this season, playing 7 games, you made a big deal about going into the tent and getting a $100,000 fine, and oh my God, I don't want Russell Wilson out there. Well, you know who should have been out there the entire time? is this man right here, Jameis Winston. Now, sadly, because of Brian Daboll's recklessness and not being able to tell quarterbacks and teach quarterbacks how to properly protect themselves, right? Jackson Dart, the young gun, who, again, every video I talk about Jackson Dart, hey, I was wrong about him. I don't believe in Ole Miss quarterbacks. Got to believe in this kid because he's a baller, right? Sadly, he's in concussion protocol because of the coach that they just recently fired, right? So Jameis Winston has to step up and do his big one. And if you're a Browns fan, you know about Jameis Winston. If you're a Florida State fan, you know about Jameis Winston. If you're a Buccaneers fan, you have nightmares about Jameis Winston. But it don't really matter because Jameis Winston is the most likable person in the entire league. I mean, look at what he was doing finally getting his start.
Finally made it. Huh? Finally made it.
What was your?
I mean, just everything he does is just it's just it's just awesome. Today's gonna be a feel good video. We're gonna listen to Jameis Winston, of course, talk about being the starter for this week, and then we're gonna go through some of his best moments as well, and then speak about what I think he can do for the Giants offense, who's gonna be missing a young star in Jackson Dart. Any Hamilton fans out there?
I want fans to know that I'm going to do my best. You know, obviously I'm going to have fun, but I'm going to execute, have a surgical execution, and just play ball, man. Like, this is something I've been doing since I've been 4 years old. Now I just get to do it in the greatest city in the world. I'm going to be saying it with my son. It's the greatest city in the world. Yeah, that's a Hamilton reference if y'all don't know. Yeah, 10-year reunion.
I just, the same reason why I like Shedeur Sanders is the same reason why I love me some Jameis Winston. Like, he is just a beacon of happiness and smiles, God-fearing man who doesn't matter what situation he's in, he's wanting to uplift people, right? He's been a career backup, and I got to be honest with you, ever since Jameis Winston became a backup, I don't think he's ever been happier. I feel like the smiles have been bigger. When he gets his opportunity, he plays, and he is always uplifting people on the sideline. And here's Jackson Dart attesting to how important someone like Jameis Winston is in the locker room.
How do you view his role? Because it's not always that common that you have two veterans, right? And someone who has accomplished, started a lot of games
right
as kind of the third stringer, knowing that, he's the emergency quarterback on game day, but how do you view his role?
He's
the way he interacts with you in that regard.
Yeah, he's like a coach on the field, in the film room when we spend extra time. He's a lot of times just quizzing me constantly. He's teaching me things that he's gone through in his past, and at the same time, our relationship goes far beyond just the football field and the personal life, and handling things that you do good, things that you need to improve on. So like you said, it's very unique to have those two guys, and for the team, he brings so much energy and optimism and positivity every single day. He's a guy that never wavers regardless of what's going on around him. So it's been a blessing to have him in my corner for sure.
And, I'm very happy that the young man Jackson Dart said that because, we're going to get into some funny moments, and we're also going to, watch some things, him basically addressing being the starter and stuff like that. Before we do that, I do want to get into some very, very hilarious moments with Jameis Winston. But before we get into funnies and hee-hee and ha-has, I want to stress this, that Jameis Winston's career is one filled with adversity, and this is going back to his FSU days. Everybody knows about the crab leg situation and that whole craziness, and all right, him going out when he wasn't supposed to come out in Florida State in his full gear, and Jimbo Fisher sent them packing. Like, there's a lot that's going on, or the lot that rather Jameis Winston has gone through in his career. The fact that he's only gotten more outspoken with his faith. Now, whether you're a religious person, we don't, I'm not pushing that on you, but, I think it's important with whatever you believe in that you believe it loudly, you believe it proudly, and you believe it unwaveringly. So he's been louder with his faith, but not only his faith, just the optimism. It's one thing to just be a Bible thumper, but to be able to continuously add smiles to people's lives, to continuously add positivities to people's life is something that cannot be understated. In the world that we live in, whether you feel like we're in the best times, the worst times, the left times, there are times when the days gets a little darker, right? The days get a little colder, right? The sun isn't shining all the time. There are going to be days where you feel bad. When you put someone like Jameis Winston, right? This goes beyond just the football field. This goes beyond just saying some personal things. This is somebody who instills a level of energy, a level of amazingness, a level of, hey, man, I think it's going to be okay. I think the sun will come out tomorrow when someone like Jameis Winston is giving you speeches like this. You know what I mean?
It's too beautiful out here wasting opportunity. Come ahead, set the tone for the first step. Simple ahead. Let's go. Let's fight for each other. Here we go. Giants on 3. 1, 2, 3, stop. Come on. Twitch monsters. Hey, yo, it ain't no magical formula. Physicality, confidence, and togetherness. Hey, let me ask y'all who is. Who are we? We are the New York Football Giants, and we came today to go to war. I don't know what y'all doing, but I want some of that popcorn that y'all selling. Because I know you got the fans out here eating a lot of popcorn. Go and shine, man. Come on.
And just constantly uplifting the young guns. Like, I want y'all to know, and I'm sorry. This is who Jameis Winston is, by the way. I want y'all to know. Look, you gotta pay attention. On the crutches, boy, on the crutches. They had to end the live. They had Jameis dancing, boy. I mean, yo, this is one of the funniest moments in NFL history, dog. Nobody was expecting this, dog. Nobody. And at every single turn, he finds ways to just be not only positive, but, you know, a national treasure. Let's hear it.
Weather conditions tonight. We're expecting winds up to 15 miles per hour in a wintry mix. How will that impact your ability to throw the ball?
I am so happy and grateful that the Lord has blessed me to play in some snow, to be in true football weather in Cleveland, Ohio at Huntington Bank Field today to give him the glory. It's a beautiful day. Let it snow, let it snow.
I don't know how you hate Jameis Winston, man. Unless you look at Jerry Jeudy, he can't stop smiling. I don't know, man. I don't know how you hate a man like Jameis Winston. And this one, is a very infamous. This is after the. I'm gonna start crying, laughing. All right. This is an elite meme that is not used, but this is the origins of the meme. So if you don't know the origins of I'm gonna stand by him, I'm gonna lift him up. So the media was asking Jameis Winston, you know, he got hurt, and obviously he got hurt. People were cheering him getting hurt. Cleveland Browns, obviously because he's Deshaun Watson, yada yada yada, right? And of course, look. And that's the thing about Jameis Winston. It don't matter what you look like. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter who your history is. He's a God-fearing man that believes that. Well, go ahead. Take it away.
Every single day, regardless of your perception, regardless of what you thought should happen with him, he committed every single day that I've been here to be the best that he can be for this team. And I know I come from the deep South. Birmingham, Alabama, Bessemer, Alabama. So I know the standard that hungry fans want. But the way I was raised, I will never pull on a man when he's down.
So that's not the full thing, and my fault. It's actually Jameis Winston on taking QB2 job from Russell Wilson. But Oh no. Okay, so they redid. This is the Browns, the Deshaun Watson thing. We're missing the. Let me find it. I want to find the. I'm be there. I'm gonna support him. I gotta. You know what I'm saying. I gotta make sure that I actually get that, because if I don't, it's gonna be a major problem. It's gonna be a major problem. So Jameis, I support him. Gotta get the. I gotta show y'all, man. Gotta show y'all what y'all are missing, man. There it is. Here it is. Okay, here it is. I found it. So Cleveland, all right, I found it. Cleveland Browns fans, quarterback reacts to the fans booing Deshaun Watson, after it. So here it is. Let's. Oh, they hit me with an ad. Don't hit me with no ads. We don't. Hold on. We don't. Nah, man. I got that premium on. You hear me? Oh, why y'all did that? Hold up. Why y'all doing this to me, man? Don't do this to me, man. Come on, dog. Pull up the yeah. Here it is.
And I do not want the treatment that Deshaun Watson has received from these passionate fans. I know you love this game. When I first got here, I knew these were some amazing fans. But Deshaun was treated badly. And now he has to overcome another obstacle. So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up. And I'm going to be there for him. Because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works. And I know who he is as a person and as an NFL quarterback. And that's all I have to say to address him.
Okay, this is the greatest moment in just of all time. Like, and you know, some people can, whether you like Deshaun Watson or you don't like Deshaun Watson, one thing that you can't deny is that's hilarious, right? And from a principled standpoint, right, some people would argue that celebrating somebody's injury is too far, right? But at the same time, Jameis, they're celebrating because of the nasty things he's done to women. But hey, Jameis don't care if you a crab or if you a Deshaun Watson. He gonna support you and he gonna lift him up, man. And this is, you know, a beautiful thing and just some more funny moments. You know?
What's that? 180? What's that? 180? What's that? Yeah. 180? What's that? Hut! Turbo, what's that? Somebody jump off sides, damn!
Somebody jump off sides, damn. I think that Turbo's here, hut! Man, shut up, Jameis. Jameis Winston is, by all intents and purposes, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever breathe air. I gotta be honest.
The message is simple. Be obsessed with your opportunity. Yeah. All of us that came from wherever we from. Right here, we got right now. So be obsessed with your opportunity. I got one thing for y'all, man. I just want y'all to help me out because I know we're a team, all right? I had this in my dream, all right? All right, when I say where my dogs at, y'all say we ready, all right? Where my dogs at? When I say where my dogs at, y'all say we ready, all right? Where my dogs at? Now I'm about to spell the Browns out. I know we one team, man, okay? I'm going to spell the Browns out. B-R-O-W-N. Come on, David. And you're going to say, let's get it. All right, with my B-R-O-W-N. Let's get it.
Like, it don't matter if you're the starting quarterback, the backup quarterback, the third string quarterback. Everybody wants to eat W's. Everybody wants to eat W's with old Jameis Winston. Now, I do want to point out some things. In 3 career games versus the Green Bay Packers, and he is going to be playing the Green Bay Packers this Sunday, he has 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 123.3 QBR. That's the second highest of his career against any opponent. So if there is a team that should fear Jameis Winston and him eating W's, it is the Green Bay Packers. So let's hear what Jameis Winston felt, kind of about the whole situation. He's going to talk about a few things. Talk about Brian Daboll, talk about Russell Wilson a little bit, I think a little bit about Jackson Dart as well, but just a general overcoming of how Jameis Winston is being set up right now.
How much sleep do you think you're going to get between now and
I'm going to get some good sleep.
You know,
it's beautiful when you can get sleep because you feel like that you're where you desire to be, you know, and I'm just extremely grateful that I get to be the starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants.
Bible study, is that with Russ and other teammates?
Yeah, those are all our teammates that attend weekly Bible study. Yeah, and that's when we got the news, you know, and I'm so happy and grateful I was in that position because I was in a state of gratitude and of deep listening
you know, and like I said, it happened so fast. Experienced this, and now I'm the starting NFL quarterback.
And now I'm a starting NFL quarterback. And again, like I said, you know, I said some harsh things about Brian Daboll in my, you know, Brian Daboll is fired video. But I do want to stress the fact that, you know, I really like what he said. Hey, there's a seed of positive in everything, right? And I think that's a powerful thing, not only to just say, but to live by, right? And him really believing that. And at the end of the day, I do think that, you know, Brian Daboll is going to be fine, right? And, you know, I don't know how many people listen to Joe Budden podcast, but they were talking about the idea of like, if it's not for me, you got to leave it, you know, that whole saying, right? But I do think that does ring true sometimes. Not every single situation is going to be perfectly set up for you, right? And the old cliche of, you know, you learn the most in losses, right? Someone being this present in the moment in a team, a young team, right? Especially with at the time, a young quarterback being able to completely, hey, we're going to just accept it, move past it and do that. That's another layer of leadership that I think some teams would be grateful to have as well.
You mentioned that
taking over, obviously with Mike now taking over. What about him gives you confidence that he can lead this team?
He's poised. He's very poised on the sideline, and don't get me wrong, this is a very challenging situation because I would not be here if it weren't for Brian Daboll, and I am so grateful for him and the opportunity that he afforded me to come to New York and do what I love. So I'm happy for Cav, but I'm thankful for Brian Daboll and what he has done for this team. I know how the business goes, and I've been in that position before, but I'm extremely grateful for him, more importantly. And I'm excited for Cav. Like, just like as a quarterback, you want the opportunity to lead the team. I know he's been waiting on this moment, preparing, not waiting, but preparing for this moment to be a head football coach, and I know he's going to do the best that he possibly can.
I mean, I want Jameis Winston in my hype corner. I got to be honest with you. I want Jameis Winston in my hype corner doing anything. Clipping a toenail, walking up 3 flights of stairs. I think if Jameis Winston is your ear, you're going to be able to lift tall buildings and jump over valleys and jump over the Grand Canyon, because there is a certain level of adversity that, you know, clearly he's faced, a certain level of interesting situation that he's faced, and he faces them head on with a nice big smile and with a new platitude to give you. So lots of negatives when it comes to, you know, what was going on with Brian Daboll, some of the things that I said, but all in all, you have to be happy. And, you know, sucks that Jackson Dart's going to be missing a game, but the world is going to be graced with another Jameis Winston start, and, you know, that's when Jameis Winston starts, phenomenal things happen. So please be on the lookout. But if you like this video, go ahead and like it. If you didn't, dislike it. Subscribe if you like football content of all shapes, sizes, forms, and fashion. Continue to be great. Continue to be phenomenal. We'll see you next time. Peace. All right, chat. I gotta get up out of here, man. I'm just geeked to see SS on the field with a run game and shutdown defense. This is proof he was the one to develop both Dart and Scat after this. He deserved those flowers. Hey, man, you know, you have someone like Jameis Winston on your team, you're going to get leaps and bounds of more level of appreciation and levels of, you know, veteran leadership, right? So it definitely is a bit of a secret weapon having somebody like Jameis Winston running around town. But that's it. I want y'all to know y'all are great. Y'all the best in the business. Chat. Next live probably gonna be maybe Friday. I know we're gonna do Sunday. We're gonna be doing a lot watch along. We recorded a lot of videos in this one. I gotta release a lot of videos, so y'all be looking. Obviously, 9 a.m. I'm gonna smack you in the mouth probably with that Deshaun Watson one. Have this one leak out, of course, too. We're going to upload plenty of videos tomorrow. But thank y'all so much. There's like 300 in here just chilling. I typically don't have this many people. What's it called? The jump off side stuff. I typically don't have this many people in my chat as I end it. So I just thank y'all. So all 200 of y'all rocking and rolling roller coaster with me. If I could... Can I send y'all a place? Can I send y'all somewhere? In, you know what I'm saying, in what do you call it? On Twitch, they got a raid. I don't want y'all to raid nothing, but I do want y'all to go watch this video. It's my video, obviously. Make sure y'all give plenty of support to what's it called? Make sure y'all give plenty of support to G Bush as well. Make sure y'all go watch the Shedeur Sanders video as well. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and watch the AJ Brown video I made, right?
If you got me on fantasy, man.
You know, some people complain I make too much Shedeur content. Before you complain, did you watch the Eagles video? Deontay, I already know you watched it, right? And then on top of that, if you don't want to, because I know some of y'all ain't Eagles fans, some of y'all don't want to hear about that, right? Then what I need you to do is go support my Travis Hunter video, because Travis Hunter is out for the season. So make sure y'all go give
I was prepared for the moment.
The young man, the young unicorn, everything he can. You'll check the ticket price for the Browns game. Oh, no, I already saw the ticket prices for the Browns game. They are going down, down, down. What's it called? Finally, True says, I watch all Shedeur content. Appreciate that. Deshuan not playing. Now I know you saw that. I saw what? Wait, I saw what? What did I do? It's never too much Shedeur content. No, of course not. Of course. Hey, and I want y'all to know I ain't going to stop making Shedeur content. I ain't going to do that. Hey, it's going to be interesting. But, yeah, no, for real. But the biggest thing is, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. 283. Go watch the Travis video. And if not, go pick you out a Shedeur video, because I'll make plenty of those too. You know what I'm saying? What's the best Shedeur video this week? Can I link that? How do I link it? I'm gonna link you the best Shedeur Sanders video right now. I want y'all to go, when y'all leave this video, go there. So what was the best one this week? It was probably this right here. Probably this right here. So y'all go hit the link. Boom. I want y'all to hit that link right there. Savage Gala. Wait, what did Savage Gala say? Oh, appreciate you for the $2. Yeah, I looked at the prices, but I didn't even say it. I appreciate that. Selmore is a real deal supporter, man. He's a real deal supporter. Travid, I gotta watch. All right, go watch that. Good work. I appreciate y'all. If you already watched, hey, just enjoy your night. But if you got anywhere to be, go ahead and hit that link real quick for me, man. I appreciate all y'all who donated, by the way, too. The donations have been absolutely phenomenal. It might seem like something small to you. It might seem like a $5 or here or $2 here, but it means the world to me. You know, it's Christmas time. There are people who are doing and a lot worse and struggling a lot more, than I am, that you might be. So the fact that you're able to give something from you, I want you to know that is not something I asked for, but it's something that I greatly appreciate. All I really ask for is that y'all watch the content, and if you like it, hit the like. If you don't, dislike. That's all I need from you. You know what I'm saying? The extra money is more than gracious. So thank y'all. Just y'all go rock out. He said I saw all the videos. Good. Just sub. I love to hear the subs. Love to see that. But thank y'all guys. Let me get out of here. Past my bedtime. Y'all be absolutely phenomenal. Peace. You blow my mind.